when I did the commercial. So I taped this commercial for Kari, and I did. I'm like, I nailed that. And then in the commercial, they're like, you said Carrie. I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, let me hear it.
Sure enough.
Carrie called.
Now, how do you spell your name?
K-A-R-I.
Exactly how it's pronounced. Kari.
Kari. Got
Right.
it. Exactly. And what's your last name? Starts with a K too?
Mm-hmm.
See, I told her, you have a name for real estate.
Good, I'm not going to change it then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, the alliteration is nice.
We used to have Byron on, and then he brought Sarah once. And I'm just like, Byron, you can't come on the show anymore. Because Sarah kicked your ass off of the show.
Oh.
And right?
Yeah,
the first,
that's true, yeah.
From the first day, the camera just locked onto her face, and she just commanded it. The first time on, I'm like, Byron, stay in the other room.
Stay in the other
He's
room.
a rambler.
Oh my God. He would come on and talk about Rebar. And Ozinga mix, and I look at him during the break. Is fucking Ozinga paying you to talk about Ozinga? He's like, no. I'm like, the fuck, stop talking about Ozinga.
It's like you ever hear that expression, you're too close, or you're like, in the forest, you can't see the trees.
Yes.
That's him.
Yes.
Nobody knows more about concrete
Then he does.
than Byron.
He's the man.
He's forgotten more than what most people know. Just like flooring, we don't know what it's about Steve with the IRS, but we think Steve is pretty knowledgeable. We're still trying to find that out.
I told you that's my guy. 80% you, Steve. 20% tax law.
80% news. Steve hosts his own show. You're still going to do the show, or no? You're going to give up the show?
I haven't decided yet.
Ooh.
You're thinking of giving it up?
We're negotiating.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
I sent him a email. I said, it reminds me of my brother used to say, I thought my mom was a great cook till I joined the Marine Corps.
Oh.
Right. So I said that. So I sent it to him. I said, I thought you got, so I thought you guys were treating me well until I started going around. I've been on WLS for a long time, but here on WGN, of course, I did some advertising here before David was here with Kevin. I don't know if Kevin's here. Kevin is my rep here, but he was my rep at WLS, and so I followed him over here. It didn't work too well, but again, they treat me great here. No, it's Kevin.
Still Kevin?
Kevin, yeah. And so I've had a radio show on WIND for 9 years, something like that, and so as I said, I thought they treated me well, and they do treat me well.
Here we go.
I love the way he says that.
Good evening, Chicago. Good afternoon, Chicago. This is David Hochberg, host of Home Sweet Home Chicago radio show. We're here until 6 o'clock. Got preempted due to exciting Blackhawks hockey. And we appreciate you joining us on our afternoon show. In the studio, we have a roundtable of experts that we would love for you to ask questions on the MegaPros call, text, and photo line. Those are open. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200, MegaPros call, text, and photo line. If you have any pictures of, if you have any concerns about any concrete, real estate, flooring, IRS tax, you want to send us your W-2 form, Steve, you good with it? Probably not a good idea. Don't do that. 312-981-7200. But first, we start every show with, buddy, how many miles in Chicago? Three 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200, MegaPost call, text, and photo line. Let's go around the horn, introduce all of our expert guests. Last time this young lady was on, she was pregnant without a beautiful baby daughter. Now she is no longer pregnant with a beautiful baby daughter. Would you like to say hi to your beautiful baby daughter at home, Sarah Andreas?
Yes, my daughter Cora is 10 weeks old today, and she's at home with her dad.
Is she listening?
I hope so.
Damn straight.
Oh, for sure.
What are you going to be? I'm sorry. Did you want to make comment?
No, I wanted to congratulate Sarah as well.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Wonderful news.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Today I'll be talking about how we could save you some money by doing your backyard projects with some specialized equipment that we have.
All right. 312-981-7200 Micropost call, text, the phone line. If our listeners want to reach out to you and your team, what is the best way for our listeners to reach out and reach you guys?
Sure, you can give us a call at 708-863-5735 or find us on the web at andreasconstruction.com.
Mr. Igor Marak, we are in the springtime. You guys never stop. I mean, you're 365, 12 months out of the year. There's really no flooring season per se, other than like tax season. You know, Stevie, whatever hair he's got left on that bald head of his is falling out rapidly.
Grass don't grow on a busy street.
I'm gonna have to stop off the car wash and get a vacuum on the way home because he's just losing it and just bucketfuls. But
Stress. A little stress.
I know the stress of him sitting next to me on the way down. But what are you going to be talking about? Because when you were in here about 6 months ago, the price of flooring had shot up, like everything. Have things calmed down?
Things have not specifically calmed down, but they've sort of leveled off, if you will.
Okay.
Which I guess, in a sense, is sort of calming down because it was like a rocket ship. It was just taking off. David, all lumber, as you know, is a commodity, and so we're sort of at the mercy of the market and supply and demand constraints and those sorts of things.
Okay.
It's one of those things where at least we're starting to see a little bit of relief in terms of the kind of the leveling off of lumber prices, which is good news for the consumer.
And what else are you going to be talking about?
We're actually going to be talking about the fact that it is spring and we're starting to warm up, and our phone is starting to ring with clients asking what, if anything, they need to do to make sure that their floors function correctly during the hot and humid summer months. And there are some very important things that everybody needs to know and how to prepare your home for summer.
The humidistat, is that the right? You got to turn off your humidifier.
So you want to definitely turn off the humidifier,
right?
Because at this point, what's going to start to happen is that humidity will naturally rise as we warm up outside, and so we're going to talk about the kind of the relationship between humidity, temperature, and your wood floors.
All right, 312-981-7200. Kari Kohler, the Kohler Group. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
What have you seen with I've been talking about on the radio since January, the meteoric rise of interest rates. Now the online news agencies are starting to write articles, so now everybody's like, oh, well, what he's saying must be true. Because it drives me nuts when these people come on the radio and talk about, the average is this. Well, that's the last week's average there, knucklehead, all right? So you're already a week behind. We're in it every single day, and so are you, and you see it. Have these interest rates slowed your market down? We have gone from 3.25% to 5.25% in the first 100 days of this year. Are you seeing any type of slowdown in the conforming loan market, which is 650, 620? I forgot the number. 625 and lower.
The only change we're seeing, David, is some buyers are canceling contracts at
Really?
the last minute and not making sellers happy.
Wow. Because of the increased cost of financing.
Yes.
647, 250 is the conforming loan. It just hit me, and I had a brain freeze there. So it is negatively impacting them that severely.
That's the first change we're seeing.
Wow.
There's still quite a few buyers out there looking for homes, and but that is the first change that we're seeing.
Okay, what are you going to be talking about during your segment coming out of the break?
I'm going to be talking about how to write a strong offer in today's robust market.
Okay, interesting, because Steve and I had a call from my best friend in the whole world who was out there looking to buy a home up in the North Shore. And he's like, would you mind calling the selling realtor and say nice things about it? So I said, sure. So Steve was part of that conversation. I had to wake him up because it was so exciting.
I just listened.
It was so exciting. See, the ladies like the other realtor, and they was like, what's that? I'm like, I got a bid in. Steve and Leahy snore. If our listeners want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
On my cell phone, which is 630-673-4586.
All right, Stephen A. Leahy, the IRS radio answer man. How are you, sir?
I'm just great, David. How about yourself? Of course I know because we drove down together.
I know. We had a very stimulating conversation. What are you going to be covering today?
Today I'm going to talk about extensions and what you should know, right? Tax day's Monday, so everybody's thinking, I'm not ready, I need an extension, so I'm going to talk about that.
One of those things would be send a check in with your extension.
he stole my thunder.
I'm telling you, because I got nailed.
He's like the tax answer man.
No, trust me, I'm not. Our listeners want to reach out to you. What's the best number, best way?
Go to WGNTaxman.com.
All right, you want to be part of the show, text line's open, 312-981-7200. Phone line is open, 312-981-7200. And if you have any pictures that you would like our experts to look at, same number, 312-981-7200. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more exciting information from Kari Kohler from the Kohler Group after these messages. We've got 1, 2.5.
So much love for you.
So if you want to go...
So much love.
Yeah.
How much time we got at the bottom of the hour?
He's whatever.
That's why he likes to have me on the show.
Yeah.
Bust on you.
Bottom of the hour. How much?
And I laugh about it, so that's...
There's enough equipment in between.
Kevin sticks to the normal news time.
In the end, it is love.
It is.
Probably about 6 minutes.
On the top, what are you looking at, 12?
No, it's usually, it should be about 9 minutes.
All right, so you got 6 at the bottom and 9 on top.
Andy's got a suite at the United Center, so...
I might need your card.
No, it's okay.
I'll go with you.
I renewed these suites.
The same one? Or
No, moved down.
You did move. Okay.
Moved down 3. So instead of 45, we're at 48.
Okay.
I saved 90 grand.
Wow. Is it smaller or what?
Bigger.
So it's bigger and less expensive?
You're just not a centerite, which is fine.
Yeah.
You get 2 more tickets, too. Yeah, are you okay with that? Because I'm about ready. I wanted your approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think? Yeah, I'm okay.
No, you're still good. You've been there. Have you been to the suite?
Well, I have not been there yet.
You haven't been there? You've been there. You haven't been there?
Yeah, it was nice.
Steve thinks he's like part of the huge mishbucha here. He's like, whenever I get a ticket, I had like an extra last minute 4:30, 4 o'clock.
More closer to 5, but who's counting?
Yeah, I had a Pat Foley available, so I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I was going to go to church, but it's Pat Foley, so I'm going to get an exemption. Okay.
It's true. And I learned long ago, if someone offers you a ticket, say yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll never ask you again.
Yeah, that's true.
So go.
He's always the emergency shit.
For the show too, huh, David?
One of them.
Well, I know
Depends
because
on my mood.
I understand.
We went through 16 others, and
I understand,
no,
but that's why I never say no, because I know eventually you're going to get to me.
Call A.
He always says yes. Even on Holy Saturday.
Holy Saturday?
Yeah.
Is there a Holy Saturday?
Yes.
Is today Holy Saturday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the Saturday between
Yes.
Easter and Good Friday.
That's right.
We have exciting... What are you giving me the old mood? What do you... as if I know this. I learned something yesterday, I told Steve, that the Polish bring their baking goods, their food to church today, to have the priest bless their food so they could take it home for that they're going to make Easter meals with,
yeah.
right? Plates with, dishes with. I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
I had a lot of Polish friends growing up.
All right, we need to catch Igor up on all the audio.
Here we go, Igor.
Here's that gem from last week.
Oh, appreciate that.
There we go. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com for all our contact information. The texts are starting to come in. The phone lines are starting to light up, so thank you for that. 312-981-7200. in addition to what your topic, which I want to get to you right away. I also want to talk about what you're seeing in the home improvement housing and how that impacts new homes. Because Joe said something very interesting last week. He said what he's finding is that people are buying homes just to buy homes because they've lost so many homes that they just want to get into a home, and now even more so because rates are shooting up. And he's busier than ever because everybody's getting into these homes that they normally went to purchase and knocking everything out and building it how they wanted to because they couldn't find a home that they wanted because it would be snapped up like that. So I want to talk about that and how that impacts your business and how that impacts your business. Yeah. But where are we right now? We are solidly in the fives. Okay, the 30-year fix is going to start with the 5. You have shaky credit. It might be mid-fives, right? And if you don't put down a lot of money, it might be in the high fives. It's just the way we are right now. What are you seeing in terms of traffic for the clients that you have, the buyers that you had? It's two different questions. A, the buyers that you had that have lost 3, 4, 5, 6 different houses because they've been out there for the past couple of months and have seen rates shoot up and now getting nervous. And B, the new calls you're getting in of those individual buyers that are trying to buy a house that are well aware that what the rate is and they don't have that sticker shock. So you're down your dance floor. Educate our listeners and myself.
Okay, well, the buyer, we're still getting lots of calls. So there is still strong buyer demand. We're working with transferees that are moving across the country. As you know, we have 2 other markets in Denver and in Las Vegas. So we're transferring people between the states. So things are still going well. The only weakness we are seeing right now is some of the buyers that were engaged in a contract are pulling out.
For what reasons? Is it because it's costing them $127 more for every $100,000 that they're financing than it would have cost them on January 1st for that same? So I mentioned this last week and we're on later. For every $100,000 that our listeners are borrowing right now, as opposed to what they would have borrowed on January 1st, it's costing them $127 more a month to borrow $100,000. So multiply that, $300,000, $400,000. On a $300,000 home, it's costing them an extra $380+ a month because of the higher interest rates. Is that the cause of people backing out, or they, you put us in your shoes?
That's one of the causes. There's no doubt about it. And then the other cause, it correlates with that. It's that they're concerned that the market's going to drop. Prices are going to drop because of that. So
they're concerned that they're buying at the peak. When they get in, we're going to have an 07 again, and the values are going to drop 40%. Interesting. Or maybe not so catastrophic as they did in 07, 08. I mean, 07, 08 was a bloodbath. It was catching falling knives. We didn't know where the bottom was. That's interesting. That's the first time I've heard that people are getting cold feet because they think we're at the peak, which I would tend to agree with them, because there's going to come a point where, unless you're transferring in, right? If you don't have to move, you're not going to move.
Right.
Interesting. Right? And what about, and then the new calls, they know what the rates are, doesn't it?
We have some cash buyers that doesn't affect them. And then there's people that there's always, in every single market that we've ever had, there's always people that have to buy and sell. Sure. And I still think it is people that want to buy and sell. I still believe we're in that market where it's still strong. This is just the first weakness we've seen in the market so far.
50% of all marriages end in a divorce. It's a known stat, okay? That person who's living in the house, who's got to move out, if you have kids, you want to be within a geographically close area, especially if they go to school, and you want to co-parent with the other party that you're getting divorced from, male, woman, female, whatever it is. That's just a fact, and that's still going to drive home sales because the person moving out has got to live someplace within the school district, if you will, or within the geographical area to get the kids to school on a timely basis. You're not going to move you're not going to take somebody from St. Charles who's getting divorced and move them over to Lombard.
That is correct.
Okay, so they're going to stay within the St. Charles school district or area. St. Charles is gigantic. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so talk to us about presenting a bulletproof offer.
So if you're the buyer's agent and you want to present a bulletproof offer, your first step is you want to call the listing agent and find out what is most important to the seller. I mean, let's face it, it's almost always price. Then there are secondary items that can be very important to a seller, such as closing date that's going to work for the seller's family. Other terms, what is the financing? What is the appraisal situation? So the buyer's agent should be calling the listing agent. They should be communicating before the offer is written.
How many times does the lender call the selling agent?
Not very often.
Okay.
And that is something my lender that I work with,
Yeah,
Steve Hendrickson,
yeah.
of course, he always calls. He's even doing a video now over to our sellers to verify the validity and the stability of our buyers.
How important is that?
It's critically important.
Okay, so we're driving down today. My best friend in the world's buying a home up on the North Shore. He's like, we're in a bidding war with 9 other people. Our realtor said it would be a good idea if you called the other realtor. So I'm like, all right, Steve's in the car sleeping. So I call, Steve, the conversation that you somewhat remember. I said, this is my best friend since high school. Since grade school, since I'm 7 years old. There's not too many people I take a bullet for. This is the one guy I would do. And I do as many mortgages, if not more mortgages, than anybody in this area. So I think you're in good shape. And I said I could get him a loan. Now, if you're a selling agent, that's got to go a long way. What would that mean to you if you got a call from me and I said those type of things, if you had a seller?
It would mean a great deal. And I would tell my seller that. And then if you follow that up with an email, too, that I can then forward the seller, it's very substantial.
I got to do that.
Didn't you give him a letter though too?
I gave it pre-approval. So this realtor, by the last name, something Goldensteinberg, whatever, Igor, you understand. It's one of our landsmen. So she wished me happy Passover, and I said, drink a lot of water, right? And Steve's like, what does that mean? And we'll talk about that later, because you eat a lot of matzah, unleavened products, and it kind of creates a little.
Say something Yiddish.
A little log jam.
A little log jam.
Right.
Yeah, in your lower extremities, and that's why you want to drink a lot of water. She understood it right away.
She did.
Right?
I did not.
There was an instant connection. I said, I'm going to do a radio show. She's like, and she's like, happy.
But I got the code, and that's why I had to ask David. What is that? What was the water thing, David?
That's David speaking in code.
That's code. That's code. Jewish code. If you go to a Seder, you eat a lot of matzah,
right.
And that has a negative impact on the lower extremities if you don't drink a lot of water to keep the fluids flowing. You're very welcome out there for everybody out there that didn't know that. That's your worthless tip of the day. 312-917.
Not so worthless.
It's not so worthless.
If you eat matzah.
Painful. Stephen,
If you eat matzah, it's not worthless.
Right. And then he goes to the back seat, he gets the emergency matzah box and starts chowing on it. And I'm like, dude. It's like
I happen to like it.
It's like eating gold bars. If our listeners want to reach out to you, Kari, we're going to come back more because I've got more questions. If our listeners want to reach out to you, what's the best number?
630-673-4586.
And I want to talk about coming back. We're going to come back with Sarah Andreas because she's got very important things going on.
Yes.
On the concrete side. We've got to hit traffic, news, and weather. Kevin Wells is all excited right now. Hang on, Kevin. We'll be right with you. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on AM 720 WGN. 312-981-7200. Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. 312-981-7200. We'll be right back. Okay, so that's done.
So that's what all the excitement was about?
That was one of the excitement. We had a lot of excitement on the way down.
Lots of
But
traffic.
that was
Have you seen that much traffic coming down
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
no
was-
in a
way.
long time?
Yeah, it was a lot.
I totally missed that.
But she had to lay it in that about Seder. So that's the code. I know, you know. Now we both know.
We both know.
Well, her name is Minnie Rosenblum.
Yes. So, and his name is David Hochberg. So I guess it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
But they still want to let everybody know.
Go in there and have a...
It's very important information, so you have to
Take a power nap.
disseminate.
Okay. Work for you.
What's your name? Minnie what?
I'm trying to find it. Hang on. What's it?
It was similar to that.
Take
Elise.
notes, I guess.
Just want to know if I know.
Marlene Rubenstein.
Oh, I know Marlene.
Yeah. And then my friend goes, well,
I usually do like a video power nap.
we can offer cash because we got a friend who will give us cash, and then after we close, we get the cash back. I go, I'll tell you what,
Because it'll take...
Don't do that.
can't do that. I go, is this person a family member? No, I'm like, all right, tell you what, You worry about, let me do the mortgages.
Thumb tires and that.
I'm like, you let your realtor deal with all the bullshit.
Standings.
I'll get the financing.
Oh, fall
Stop
asleep
trying
sitting here
to
in
play
the
cash maker.
He did tell Maureen, what was her name?
Marlene Rubinstein.
He told Marlene to Google him. You can Google me.
Oh,
I
yeah?
said, I'll send you my name. You can Google me. It's okay.
Well,
I
she
can
didn't know
tell.
who you were?
I could.
What?
She didn't know who you were?
I don't think so.
I
But
felt kind of deflated.
but his knowledge of the market was clear. It's clear that he knows what he's talking about.
It's important.
Yeah, it is.
It's very important.
You know, I know nothing. Why I listen to the radio. You want to call Marlene and say, sell this guy's friend the house?
So
You know Marlene?
Yeah, I know she.
Does she know you?
I don't know if she knows.
Does she like you?
Who
Now,
knows?
Is there offer going out of the toilet?
Who knows Igor doesn't like him?
There's many.
I don't think so.
Got a mean streak.
There's no.
There's nobody. That's why he said that, Igor. If it was true, he wouldn't say it.
You know, everybody loves Igor. How long is it going to take you to load up your tank?
I'll be on for like 10 minutes.
All right. So the top of the hour, you'll have enough time?
Yeah, I'm plenty.
I remember that sound.
That's what you're. Oh, I'm like,
That's why I got my lunchbox.
I didn't understand.
The pumping when my wife used to
Yeah,
pump.
yeah.
I'm like, come on, I got to turn the volume up.
It's the worst.
They've gotten quieter, haven't they?
It,
I
yeah,
haven't had a kid in
A long time.
a long time. I hope they've gotten quieter because they couldn't get much louder.
I remember how loud they were when we were kids.
Brought that thing everywhere.
You have
Patient.
to.
It was like a little box. You just
Yep.
Yep.
like shoulder carry and go.
I was the cooler carrier. I was the boob milk cooler carrier guy.
Nice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a great time for your life.
Yep.
I wouldn't go back.
I'm loving it.
It's not.
Great.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
great. It's a great thing.
It's a lot of work.
I got a
There's
20.
a lot of
I got a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old. I kind
Both
of
of
like.
them still shitting their pants. and still can't
It's true. It's true. But we could drink together now.
There you go. That's an
Yeah,
exciting
that's the
time.
cool thing.
It is.
And then they take care of you, right? In reverse.
Well, one day it'll be me. They'll be changing my diaper. No,
God forbid.
they won't.
They'll hire somebody.
They both think so.
Diapers. You're just gonna walk around naked.
They both. That's why I always feel bad because
Look at that guy, naked guy, rubbing his ass in the grass like a dog. Oh,
what do I say?
Dad.
Don't you got a daddy boy? You don't, because I always tell my kids I wasn't good to them because I didn't make them fix stuff like my dad. You know, my dad would always say, here, fix it, and then walk away, and then you had to figure it out or whatever it was. He had a farm. Okay, I want to put a fence up here. Go ahead, guys, go put a fence up. So then it was up to me and my brother to put a fence up. My kids, I tell them that, I said, look at me, I'm not doing that.
I know.
You know, and then what happens one day when you have to? I'll hire someone.
Yeah.
You think it's so easy to just hire someone to like unclog a drain in your house?
Hire Joe. All you gotta do is it's a one phone call.
$50.
YouTube it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it ain't. And they both want to hire someone, but they're both cheap. As I am, that's why I wouldn't hire you. I fix it myself.
Then you gotta know how to fix it yourself.
Then you got to do it yourself. Exactly.
You guys aren't giving a whole lot of good cases for having kids here.
No, kids are great. Kids are great. My biggest regret in life is not having more children.
Is it?
Yeah. 'Cause here you produce something that you love with all your heart. I mean, how could you have too much of that?
That's a good
The
point.
next morning, after I gave birth at 9 p.m., I had a C-section. So the next morning, I forgot I was on the phone. And somebody's like, "Oh, you'll be one and done now." I'm like, oh no, now I want 6.
Yeah. Kids are awesome,
Oh yeah.
and you're still young, So
Yeah. My goal is to have all my children before my dad seriously retires.
so my brother had 5 children, and he lived next door to me. So I only have 2 children. But again, that's my biggest regret. Have more kids would have been.
It's all good until they become teenagers.
Teenagers wasn't too bad.
I don't know. I was a mess.
Some of his, as the uncle, again, we lived next door to him, so I still saw his kids grow up. But now, like Jimmy, Jimmy.
Yeah, sure.
So Jimmy, my brother's son, Jimmy, used to co-host my radio show. Igor's been on my radio show, and so he's 30 something, and he's like
You go out.
He's changed. You know, he was the. He says I look at some of the old videos. I'm like, boy, what an idiot I was. He says.
They do. They certainly do out
At least
there.
you can recognize.
Yes.
It now, look
Yeah.
at
He's
it.
like, why'd you put up with me, Uncle Steve? Because I love you, Jim.
He's a good kid.
He is a good kid.
Is he still doing real estate?
Yeah. Now he's a truck broker.
He's not real estate.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Freight guy.
Freight. Yeah.
Freight
Logistics.
Logistics. Well,
Yeah.
you can
Logistics.
make a lot of money.
Yeah.
The biggest thing right now.
So he's
If
doing
you
it.
can find the truck.
And a
put the
driver.
material there. And a driver.
And he's actually good talking. He's better talking to
People he doesn't
to
know.
truck drivers than he is to North Shore ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right?
100%. I was wondering how that dynamic as a realtor. So, sweetheart, here's the deal. You don't know what you're doing.
I do. I'm starting to understand how you feel. You know, like as of today, because I filled in this week, I'm hearing my voice every other break.
It's impossible to maintain that level of excellence on your shoulders that long. There's no way you could feel the way I feel. I make it look easy. Boy.
I know.
There we go.
Marketing genius.
312-981-7200, 312-981-7200, MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. October of last year, was that the last time you were on?
I think it was November.
November of last
Yeah.
year. My goodness gracious. And you were 6 months pregnant?
Yeah, I was definitely did not look like how I looked towards the end.
Yeah, you were not comfortable.
Oh yeah, I was
So-
not comfortable.
Yeah, there was a lot of maneuvering to get into comfortable positions. I was comfortable. I was fine. Which, all the other guests were fine, but you were just like
Well,
moving
every
around.
break I was going to the bathroom.
I know,
so, yeah.
which was annoying.
We were a little uncomfortable watching you be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Just,
right.
you know
yeah.
what I mean? But
Right, because we all had to use the outdoor bathroom
Right.
because Sarah was like sprinting.
We had to run downstairs.
That's right. 312-981-7200. So what's going on? It's getting to be outdoor concrete season.
Yes.
I heard some crazy thing. We're getting weather tonight of some mix, a wintry mix or something, and hopefully this is
Yeah.
enough of this crap already. I'm tired of it. So
That don't bother us. It can snow a little bit as long as we keep the temperatures high. Everything's looking great to pour some concrete.
So you're right in the middle of it right now, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you're starting to fire up the truck. The crews are coming back.
Absolutely. So it's been about like a month. We've been rolling with residential projects. 365 days a year we are working for our industrial and commercial clients.
Indoor work.
Indoor work, yeah, or loading docks, different things outside. But during this time of the year, all the way till about November, December is our residential season.
Patios, backyards,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
sidewalks, driveways.
Yep, retaining walls, whatever you need.
A lot of our listeners are staying in their homes longer than they had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're putting a lot of money, investing a lot of money into their homes. And where they're investing a lot of the money, not only in the kitchens and the bathrooms and the basement, but the outdoor space has become more popular than ever with all the COVID stuff that we've gone through in the past 2 years. And
Absolutely.
backyard space is premium right now. And you've purchased or acquired new specialized equipment to start handling and doing crazy things in our listeners' backyard.
Yes, absolutely. So right now we have a machine that we call Little Debbie. It's an S70 Bobcat. It is 38 inches wide. So most residential gates that I've measured are about 42 inches wide.
Okay.
So we could get in any gate you have, we could fit through a machine. And what that does for the customer, and the reason why we purchased that equipment, is because we can pass along savings to the customer.
sure.
Big time. You will save tons of money on the cost of labor, for sure.
Instead of breaking up concrete, you've
By
got,
hand,
right?
yeah.
You've got a bit on there that'll bust it up.
Absolutely,
And then
yeah.
you put a bucket on there to lift it up and take it to the front. Oh, that's huge.
Right. So instead of having 3 or 4 different workers breaking out the concrete and putting it in wheelbarrows, bringing it to the street, we could have one guy there pulling it all out, and we could actually make your project go a little bit faster than would be expected. And a lot of other contractors, our competition, they don't have these machines because they do landscaping, they do pavers, they do other things. Because we specialize in concrete, we have gone the extra mile to buy this machinery to pass those savings along to our customers.
With the supply chain challenges that we've had, what are you guys seeing with increases in just material costs compared to this time last year to this time this year, and what has it done to the investment? Is it an extra 10%? Is it an extra 15%? Because Roy was on here, Roy Spencer Permaseal was on here, and he put a big ad campaign out there saying, hey, come March 1st, I believe it was March 1st, our prices are fixed until March 1st, but then we're going up 10% or whatever it was, book your job now.
Yeah.
How much more of an investment is it just due to supply chain challenges and fuel? And all that goes
That's
in.
all a factor. So definitely, right now, every year we do experience price increases. So if you're thinking on a timeline, know that right now, if you do your patio, it will be much cheaper than if you do it in 5 years. That's just the natural way that the concrete business is. Right now, we've experienced like a $30 price hike per yard for our concrete. And our cost for rebar, I know we love talking about
loves his
rebar.
rebar. 2x2, 4x4, on center, 60-inch off the center. Waiting for the Ozinga comments coming in.
Definitely, yeah. So that our cost of rebar has actually doubled.
Whoa!
Yeah, massive.
Huge. Rebar. Okay, so explain what rebar is.
Okay, so rebar is the steel reinforcement structure that keeps the concrete together, keeps your concrete from cracking or lifting or moving.
It's the skeleton of
Yes.
your sidewalk driveway or whatever that the concrete goes over and gives it the structural support.
For
It's
sure.
double.
Yes, and that is primarily used for us in driveways, patios. You're not going to use rebar on your standard residential sidewalk. But if you're looking to do a patio, a driveway, a set of steps, you're definitely going to have rebar included in your project.
Wow.
Yeah, doubles.
That's a huge jump.
That was a huge shock for us. But because we have been in business for more than 65 years, we have experienced many different price, fluctuations. So we as a business know how to handle that and not necessarily pass that directly along to the consumer.
So how do our listeners get a hold of you? Because we have a text message from 630. What is the name of the concrete company that's on the air right now?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
obviously, I did a horrific job explaining and introducing you.
That's okay. We are Robert R. Andreas & Sons. We are located in Cicero, Illinois. And you can reach us at 708-863-5735. You can find us on Facebook at Andreas Construction and on the web at andreasconstruction.com.
Kari is out in the Fox Valley and her St. Charles area. Do you go out to that area as well?
Yes, we will go to St. Charles. That is definitely for sure. We travel about an hour round from Cicero. So if you're about an hour from Cicero, we can come to you.
Well, an hour from Cicero could be like 3 miles.
Yeah, depending on the traffic that
Depending
day.
on the day?
For sure,
Okay.
yeah.
But 60 miles, is that about right?
Yeah, anywhere between 50 and 60. Obviously, we do have to take into account that there are rising gas prices and all that. But if you want quality work done by a family who's been doing this for 3 generations, I'm the 3rd generation, and just the 4th generation is at home right now, 10 weeks old.
Yep.
So if you want people who know what they're doing, then sometimes it's better to pay a little bit more.
Our recommended concrete company, because you guys have been around for a lot. Your grandfather started it back when he came back from World War II.
Absolutely, he did. His legacy lives on today, and everything that he knew, he passed along to my father, and my dad has tenfolded this business and opened us up to industrial and commercial clients, and I hope to continue on that legacy for sure.
And what's the name of the pizza company you brought the 3 or 4 or 5 pizzas in?
Yes,
from Cicero?
yes. Everybody in the studio today enjoyed a little slice of Freddy's Pizza in Cicero. Joe and Annie are great people. It's a great business. If you've never been to Freddy's in Cicero, I highly recommend it. And besides their pizza, their chicken parm to die for.
Right.
Yeah, amazing.
Where are they located, real quick?
They're in Cicero. I don't know.
We'll get the address for everybody.
There you go.
That would like to. If our listeners want to reach out to you, what's the best number to reach you?
You can give us a call at 708-863-5735.
All right, this is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We're coming back with Mr. Floor, Igor Marak. after these messages. 312-981-7200. That's the MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com for all of our contact information. Download podcasts of previous shows. 312, does Andreas also do asphalt?
We sure do some asphalt, that's
Asphalt.
for sure. Yeah, definitely driveways, parking lots, whatever it is.
Phone number one more time.
708-863-5735.
312-981-7200. MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
1600 South 61st Avenue.
Thank you. I was going to say 16th and Austin? I don't know.
Leave it to Steve to come up with an address.
Thank you.
I got a computer.
What do you think?
You got a computer, that'll work.
23rd Ward. He said, love it. Sarah's great.
Aw.
Yeah.
Who is it?
El Cacciatore from the 23rd Ward.
Is he
This
Chicago?
chicken's delicious, right,
Sorry.
Steve? Al
Yeah.
Cacciatore, chicken Cacciatore. Come on, get that.
See what I threw
Tip
behind
your
the
waiter.
chair? David been doing this. David been doing this. Cut.
We just
Well,
gotta keep the ball rolling.
$200,000 worth of college paid off, right?
Yeah, there you
I love
go.
prices. I'm driving a minivan.
There you
Not
go.
that Corvette, not that
I appreciate
Maserati.
every penny.
Keep going because I'm getting real close to retiring.
I know it.
Semi-retired.
That's what I told everybody I'm going to have all my kids before you retire.
Good.
You know,
And then you're going to college or going to trade schools.
That's fine.
He was, I don't know hair designers and no dentists coming out of here. I think an architect, project man.
Maybe.
Right, Igor, you're up, baby. You're up.
Is this the long break? No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, short break here, then, and we were back in like
The milk truck's
30
got to
seconds.
go.
The milk
And the milk truck's got to make a delivery.
I know.
The menu
The milk
nickname.
truck.
If you want to jump out, I'll tell you what. Say Keenan, then Igor will take you top and then bring you around. Because we got a call.
This kid's 13 years old. This is your show.
15. Kenosha. Oak Lawn.
Alright.
So you find that people are buying homes, Kari, just to buy homes because they're missing out on homes and they're just like, it might not be what we want, but we just want to buy a home, or they...
Well, there literally are not enough rooftops for the amount of buyers that want to buy. So they are making, they're kind of lowering their standards, paying more than they want to. Yeah.
Now, there's not... What I've read is that because in 2008, new construction kind of
see that?
stopped, so now we're like
Property tax
outgrowing
question?
how many houses we have.
We
right?
are.
You see that property tax question?
Yeah, and new construction hasn't picked up because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
everything slowed down then. So yeah, there's not enough homes for the population. So it's across the country.
Yeah, no.
So it's amazing.
I felt that, especially out in Colorado, the rental market there is insane.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah. Rent prices everywhere are nuts.
You can't find a 2-bedroom in Cook County for less than $1,200.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who got murdered in it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
The chalk lines?
Yeah, with the
Here
chalk.
we go.
Still $1,200.
Let's take this call, then we'll throw it over to Igor. Sarah, we got a call from you real quick. Been waiting for a while. Three 312-981-7200. We're going to throw it over to Igor, but Keenan from Oak Lawn called in for a question for Sarah. Sarah, Keenan, Sarah. How are you, Keenan? How can we help you? That's not safe. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, Keenan, we could definitely get someone out to do an estimate for you to get your grandmother a price and get your project completed around Mother's Day. That's for sure. Now, how old are you? Very cool. So, are you gonna bust open the piggy bank to pay for this new set of steps for Grandma? Very cool. But yeah, my dad, Byron Andreas, would definitely be more than happy to come out and give your grandmother an estimate and meet you, definitely. So you can give us a call at 708-863-5735.
Do you take credit cards?
Yes, we do.
Does your mom have a credit card, Keenan? All right, there you go.
There you go.
Hang tight. Hang tight for your Mr. Floor complimentary cleaning product. 312-981. Now that's a gift of love.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
Give grandma a new porch for Mother's
safe.
Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Grandma needs a safe set of steps.
I'm digging that. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Igor Marak. We just heard the pricing increases. We talked about that on previous shows.
Yeah.
I know that. I just want to cover that real quick, and then after the break, because that call ate up a lot of your time, we'll pick you up on the other side. Where are we with the pricing? Has it calmed down? Are we getting boats unloaded? Are rail cars coming up? Or are there truckers to unload to put the wood on the trucks to get it to your shop? I mean, where are we?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything that you just described, David. It's supply chain issues, it's fuel prices, it's trucking shortage,
Sure.
Trucking labor shortage. So, a lot of our lumber comes domestically from the United States. Some of it we get from Canada. But again, fuel prices and trucking shortages and those sorts of things have really impacted our ability to get product quickly and also, at a reasonable price. So it's your typical supply and demand
Sure.
sort of issue. And we're kind of at the mercy of the market. The damage that was done during the COVID lockdowns and all of the stoppage in production has really, come home to roost, so to speak, and we're now paying the price for it, literally and figuratively.
So walk me through typical 1,500 square foot downstairs of a single family house.
So prices are up at least 50 to 75%.
Whoa!
On the lumber.
On the lumber.
Yeah, we've managed to maintain some semblance of normalcy on the labor side of things, but the lumber is just astronomical. Sarah was talking about paying double for rebar. Our prices are just about double on lumber, and it's the rate of price increases on the lumber side have slowed down, but they're still increasing.
Wow.
So it's one of those things where we're doing everything we can. And we've been around a long time as well, and we're doing everything possible to not pass all of it along. I mean, we're eating a lot of those costs internally, and through strategies and through labor management, other things. But at a certain point, you just can't deal with it. You cannot absorb all of that, all of those costs.
Are the callers that are calling into your shop to get new flooring, right? Okay, I know the home builders got to build, okay, because they've got a home that they have to deliver, and the costs are locked in, and they take futures out, all that stuff. But
Yep.
you got Sally and John, okay, that have got 15-year-old house and 3 kids, 2 dogs, and their wood floors are just destroyed because of life, and they just need a sanding and a new coating. Are those calls still coming in? One, hang on, and then you got Sally and Johnny. Okay, same family, doesn't want to, doesn't have hardwood floors, and they want to rip up the old pergo, or they want to rip up the tile and put hardwood floors. Are those calls still coming in?
Yeah, so both sets of calls are still coming in. As a matter of fact, because of the work at home environment that we're in right now, we have a lot of our clients really kind of between a rock and a hard place, in the sense that they're both working and living at home, and so they have no choice but to address some of their flooring needs. So it goes from a want to a need very, very quickly.
Doesn't matter the cost.
Cost is always a factor, but we try to value engineer a lot of our projects. So we can take a floor and refinish it rather than replace it, or we can do a repair and a refinishing rather than a full replacement.
Sure.
So we're doing everything we can for our clients to kind of get strategic in this environment. But at a certain point, you still have to buy the lumber and you still have to do the work.
Yeah, 30 seconds before the break.
Yeah.
I picked this up off of Lisa Dent, so I'm going to start doing that. 30 seconds before the break, because she does that.
We
all
love
the time,
Lisa.
and it's great.
Yes.
The cost of the other alternatives, have they gone up equally as much as the cost of wood?
Yes, because a lot of those products are imported. So if we're talking about laminate floors or vinyl floors, they're imported. So
no matter what.
So shipping costs, a container of product used to cost $5,000, for example, to bring it. It's now $30,000. So all of that really just trickles down to the end user, and there's very little that anybody in the industry can do other than just hang out tight and wait for that to
brace for impact.
Yeah, more or less.
All right. If our listeners want to reach you, what's the best number?
Give us a call directly, please, at 847-674-7500, or visit us online at mrfloor.com.
Humidity and flooring coming up after the break. I want to cover that.
Yes.
3-1, because that is important. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We got to take top of the hour news break here. We got a hard out. 312-981. That's really going to talk to me. We got to get off the air quick. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. It's a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN. All right, go pump.
Thank you. Could you
Pump away.
Can they hear on Facebook right now?
No.
Oh, can you believe my aunt's texting my dad right now, upset that I didn't mention her yet?
What? So,
Oh, Dave knows. Yeah, you already told Dave. Debbie's upset. I haven't mentioned her.
David, I'm not.
That's
Like,
mad.
I didn't hear that
No
commercial
INT
caller on here. Is that how that's supposed to be? I don't hear anything on my headphones.
you don't hear him talking?
No.
It's probably just turned down.
Oh,
I just want. I
you-
saw you guys all reacting, and I couldn't hear anything, so I was like, something's
no,
got to be
that's not
wrong.
right. Hang on.
Thank you.
Who is it going to call?
Fix it for you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you should be able to hear all of us talking.
Okay. See that? You guys were
You
laughing
can't-
before. I was like, what are you laughing at?
Is it
The
her?
volume knob.
No, it's on.
Yeah, no, it's on.
Okay.
It's just the volume knob.
Super. Thank you.
Yeah, because he was playing an intro, which was kind of funny. So that's what we were all reacting
I was like,
to.
something's got to be going
I
on.
was going to say, Kari has no sense of humor.
Yeah. She's such like a librarian.
That's 550.
Yeah, what a dull show. I heard nothing for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. Yeah.
So Dave, how do you get involved in this soda? What you're doing besides all the other stuff that's out there?
Kevin, one of the sales rep, came to me and said, company out of Texas, weight loss company, looking to get in the market, looking for a 50-year-old guy, fat, 50-year-old out of shape guy who wants to lose weight. Check, let's go.
Yeah?
Yeah?
I've never heard of him until we started doing it.
Yeah, Kat called me today, Dave Kaplan. He's like, yeah, hey, what's this soda? They want me to be a spokesperson. I'm like, what do they want you? I mean, you're in good shape. You're in great shape. He's like, is it? So I told him it's good. It's a real deal, man. So he's gonna start hearing Cap do it. That means I'm out. I'm like, great, you just bounced me out of this. Nice
You've
job,
lost
Cap.
weight, so you're done. They don't need you anymore.
I'm like, why are they calling you? You don't need to lose weight. He's like, I just want to be a spokesperson. You know?
Well, I hear John Williams reading spots all the time for them, too.
Yeah.
He does a nice job.
Yeah.
Next to me, the best host here.
John?
Yeah,
Oh, next to you said?
next to me.
Yeah.
Close second, right, Steve?
Yes.
So my question for you two is,
I like John Hanson better than you two.
where does it get to where people stop spending money? You know, like where people are always going to buy and sell homes, right? But the people that, and again, the price of rent is just as expensive. So I mean, where are you going, right? You're going to turn here. Yeah, I'm going to go rent. Bam. You know, it's $3,500. Used to be $2,000. It's $35,000. So that's something I want to talk about, right?
But where do they stop spending? I mean, like
There comes. Listen,
there does come a time, but what are they going to do if they don't have, if rent is just as much money as purchasing as their mortgage, what are they going to do? Like, and I keep saying that, like the people that are teachers and nurses that have a fixed income, what
They're
are they
fucked.
supposed to do in this
They're
economy?
going to consolidate, in my opinion. So you're going to see, like multi-generational
Living?
you're going to go old
living.
school.
I think it's going to go old school. That's what I think. Because if they can't afford to buy and they can't afford to
You're gonna bring
run,
mom in.
they're either bringing them out or they're
One of my
going back
employees
to
in
the
his
front.
upper 50s. He got hurt, so he's a disability. Him and his 3 kids, 2 live out in California, 1 in Arizona. He's in Chicago. Moving out to California, and they bought 30 acres, and are going to build 4 homes on like a compound.
Well, think of how much money it's going to cost them to build the
Right.
4 homes.
Right.
You know?
But, not big homes, but
Yeah,
the
but
idea is they're
still.
going to be living
Yeah.
like on their own little
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, the kids maybe with, are going to start moving in with their parents again. Or it's just, I think it's going to be a consolidation.
Yeah.
I feel fortunate to have the kind of job where I can just work harder and make more money, but geez.
Because you're not on a fixed income.
No.
During the pandemic, we thought it was worse, but it was just the total opposite.
They cannot come fast enough.
Because then it was
Put your notes on finish the whole show up.
Yes.
They have more disposable income.
right. They had all kinds of money they weren't spending.
See, but the problem in housing is going to be, you're going to run out of houses to
You're going to
sell
run, right.
or to buy. at
Right.
some point,
Well,
right? I mean,
that's
if there's
kind
no
of-
inventory.
That happened in
that's-
Denver, for
Two
sure.
for Sarah, two for Carly.
In our market
everybody
in
wants to be a
Denver,
Wherever you go,
there's
right?
literally,
Two for
yeah, and everybody
Sarah.
wants to be a realtor, and
Everybody wanted to be a painter.
yeah.
Or a builder. Do you remember the days
Oh,
of
yeah. Or a
Yeah.
flipper, right?
where the dentist
A
was
flipper,
the
for
builder?
sure.
Right.
Flipper for sure.
Which sucks.
Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be
This is
interesting.
going to be really interesting. And I mean,
Podcast
really,
after,
5% interest rate is not the end of the
No.
world. It really
70,
isn't.
79 with 13, 12, whatever.
So we're going to have to get used to that
Right.
again. But
But this generation it's like a shock. You won't get used to it. You had to live through it in the 70s or so, and then you paid that high interest rate. Well, my sister did hers was almost 14%.
That's too long ago. That's you're
I know.
talking 30, 40 years ago.
But the thing is, no matter who you are, you're being negatively impacted by this. I mean, a gallon of milk has doubled. Everything.
Eggs
You
are
can't
doubled.
touch anything.
And the thing that amazes me is the size of everything. Because they were talking about, and I buy this Mother's Day bread, and it comes in a whatever. But I haven't bought it for a while. Then I went back and bought a loaf, and I brought it home looking at it.
It's smaller and it's more expensive.
I don't know if it was more expensive. I really don't pay attention to prices,
Yeah.
but I noticed the loaf's smaller.
Yeah.
Just by
So maybe in an effort not to raise the price.
right, it's
Maybe
a
they'll
bill.
slow.
They lower
Even the cereal
But
boxes.
I buy my groceries online because I'm busy, and I just watch it every week.
Right.
Just go because I just eat a boring thing, and it just goes up and up and up and
For
up.
the same order.
Same order.
Yeah, that's the
I'm like, you have got to make a case of Diet Coke is now like $15 to order online.
Oh, I know. I know. And steak. I love the steak.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
The steak restaurants they're hurting because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But that's your inflation, right? That's
Right.
why all the commodities, everything is fluctuating. It's all going up. The problem is the trajectory is this way.
Right.
It's
Right.
not, I don't see. We're kind of like leveling off, but we're not leveling.
Oh, it's
So
nuts.
I don't know where it ends.
It's nuts, but it is an interesting time.
Sure
Very
is.
interesting time. I'm glad we can all work again, and we can work without
Look
masks
at
on.
my dad,
I know.
he was depression in the
I know.
30s. That was crazy in the war and stuff. And then now this is a different situation, but those times had to be crazy too.
Oh yeah,
He tells me a story when he was 8 years old. He'd get Mom would send him to the bakery to get the day-old bread they're going to throw out.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's just the stuff that they went through. They was depression when he was a little kid.
yeah. Every generation has gone through some real. I mean, we're still babied and pampered and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I mean, we have everything we need and
Soft.
then some.
It's just in my line of work. It's a good common labor and stuff.
Yes.
Everyone wants to sit behind a desk and play the stock market and do, not work. They want
Yes.
to work, but they don't want to work hard like.
That's true, but I think I have jobs posted in all three of our markets, and I'm getting more and more and more resumes. So it's showing me that more people want to work. I don't know what the quality will be like. It's just nice. Like before, we were getting no resumes.
Right.
So at least that's changed.
Right. Last year I went through a whole year without getting a flyer. I even went to high school in Morton, Western Berlin. And the truant officer's got 180 kids that are troublemakers.
There you go.
He goes, I'll find you one. Yeah, well, if I don't get paid 15, 16 bucks to walk around that flyer.
I'm
60.
Jeez, that's a lot of money.
Well, and I couldn't find anybody.
It's amazing.
I got a 63-year-old guy doing it now.
so that's what
He's just looking for something to do.
I want to talk about. It comes into taxes too.
What?
Are people getting backed up with credit card debt and having in trouble? Are you getting those calls? Well, you're a bankruptcy attorney too.
Bankruptcy's not too much, but more foreclosure stuff. I'll tell you that.
Comment?
More foreclosure
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
is coming.
Well, you've been calling for that
Been calling
for
that
months.
for months.
Well, the moratorium, that
It's over.
yeah.
November.
I just
These
did a story.
fuckers. I'll tell you what.
You know that there's a court, the Eighth Circuit just decided that Senate court back that the moratorium is a taking, that the government has to pay, may have to pay.
What? Explain that.
Well, the Fifth Amendment, right? That your government can't take your property without just compensation.
Right.
And so by putting a moratorium on and making if house people against their will.
That one?
Yeah, against their will.
So what's the fallout from it?
Tea's coming up.
Well, if the government took their property, then they're going to have to pay them.
Hang on.
I think it is.
Hey, Kevin, let's not slack here, buddy. We need the actual reading of the barometric. Nobody knows what. Come on, man. Work harder, buddy. Who the hell knows that? Just get. Okay, Google it for God. Everything is Googleable. Googleable. I'm just trying to help out your broadcast career, Kevin. I'm just trying to, this weekend gig. It could go either one or two ways, right? It could either be going into a weekday gig like what's the other guy, Bob Kessler, right? Mr. Big Shot. Yeah, I can't even get a hello. I walk past Kessler in the hallway. Mr. Big Time now. He's got a weekday spot. Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be good. He could give me a head nod.
Yeah.
Damn straight on that. All right, well, I appreciate that. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about how humidity impacts your flooring after these messages.
It's the balls.
What?
I love how you bust it.
Every chance I get. It's a Saturday morning radio show about real estate. Come on.
In the afternoon, no less.
Right. You got to bust balls even harder.
Absolutely. It's getting like grayer and grayer outside.
I know.
What's coming?
I'm telling you, I heard
Like something bad?
something bad. I heard like snow. I'm like, what? And then it's going to be. Did you guys hear any of that?
Snow?
It's the fog of death.
Like it won't end.
That's news to me.
Let's just hope it
I'll look it up.
So
Don't
that
stop. Right, don't
conversation.
stop.
Go back.
So,
But that conversation I want to have.
yeah, that's an important conversation.
Oh,
Right?
it's not
I don't see any
like
snow.
a hard economic conversation.
No, but forget, I don't want to go there. But
Okay.
just how it's impacted you, and I could say, listen, our calls are coming in, and people are freaked out that
High wind.
it is what it is.
High wind warning.
I mean, these certain things that, but what we talked about.
It's an
David,
important conversation.
By the way, I went ahead and checked. All of the disclaimers are that long, so you're going to have to fade down, and then I'll give you the all clear when you can fade it back up.
Can you shoot him an email and ask him if
Yeah.
he could knock it down, see if he's got the raw footage of Joe here?
Yeah, I'll give him an email on all of it.
So something happened legally
Why?
with
Can say that's
And that's me not cleaning my hardwood floors right.
there you
That's
go.
me.
We're gonna fix that.
Yeah.
Lisa Dent did a huge shout out. Well, you heard that.
No,
You didn't hear that?
Lisa did.
Yeah, I was on her show, and she gave you a huge shout
Did
out.
she get the cleaners that I
I think
sent
she
her?
did.
I know. John gave a big shout out.
John gave you a big shout out.
You were on his
'Cause I
show.
was on his show.
Yeah,
But when I was on Lisa's show,
Really?
I gotta find out. Yeah. If not, the next time I'm on, I'll be like, "How's your floors?" Or maybe I asked her how her floors, and she said it's great.
She liked
I
it.
can't remember.
Okay, that's all right.
But he's got the best hardwood floor. No joke. He did all my floors. So before I moved, I had Amy come out. I'm like, what do I got to do? She's like, get rid of all this. We're taking your color from redwood to
It was natural.
natural
And we looked
field.
like an espresso bro. It was beautiful.
Ooh, I love
It was
espresso
gorgeous.
though.
It was,
But
Amy's like, we got to do this color.
It was all dark. So we went dark.
Love that.
How'd it go?
We went dark, and he cleaned it up because it was all scratched chairs, all dogs, kids.
Well, the dogs destroyed it.
Dogs destroyed it. So he made it beautiful. He made it beautiful. And so on the way out, each kid had a spray bottle, and we worked our way towards the garage.
They zambonied themselves.
What we did.
I
basically.
love it.
Swear to God. Here we
I
go.
love it.
(312-981-7200), 312-981-7200. It's the MegaPros call, text, and photo line. We are here to answer all of your real estate, housing, IRS, concrete, mortgage, credit, personal relationship questions. I am also an what are you laughing about? You know that's true. Yeah. No, that's Igor laughing. What are you laughing
That was not
about?
me giggling. That was Sarah.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'm looking around who's laughing. Because I know Steve's on the floor cracking up. He turned his mic off. He thought that was so funny. But we've got Lori calling in from Streamwood. Has a question for you, Mr. Floor. Lori, welcome to the show.
So there are a couple of things that you can actually do to try to figure this out. So you live in a single family home? Okay, and you have a basement, I'm assuming, yes? So the reason I'm asking that question is because generally if you have a basement, it means you have a plywood subfloor onto which a wood floor would have been nailed if you have a wood floor. That's typical construction. So if you have a solid wood floor, if done properly, you can actually sand a solid wood floor anywhere between 4 to 6 times. And generally, people are sanding floors somewhere in the 20 to 25 year range. Generally, is what we see in the industry. So there's a good chance your floor, depending on how old the house is, maybe only was sanded a couple times. So, no, then it may be. Yeah. So you should have a significant amount of what we call the wear layer, or the usable amount of wood on top of that tongue and groove connection. So yeah, your floor should be absolutely sandable, and we'd be happy to take a look at it for you if you need us to.
How about a picture? If she sent a picture, no?
Dave, a picture wouldn't really.
Well, you don't have pictures of your flooring on your cell phone?
Only I do, Dave.
Only you. All right. Now you know you need to have it. You never know when you're going to call into.
It's my profile picture on my.
All right, so, or just put the
There you
grandkid on the floor, and then you got the best of both worlds.
That's a cute picture.
There you
right?
go.
So you could absolutely have an. Yeah, go ahead. Well, I'll tell you, if you actually wind up sanding and refinishing your existing floors, you could very easily add on more wood flooring into the laundry. I know the concern is, well, there's water, and maybe it's right off the garage. But the coatings have come such a long way. We can really do a fine job protecting that floor, and then you can have a seamless floor that runs right through that laundry room. You don't have that stoppage, that divisional point in the doorway, and kind of annex the laundry room into the larger overall space. I think it'll make everything look even better, for you. So, give that some thought. I mean, like I said, we'd be happy to, come out and take a look at it for you. Or if you do want to send some pictures in at some point, if you haven't, you could email them to us at info@mrfloor.com, or right to the show if we're still on for a little while.
And you service Streamwood.
Absolutely.
All right, so Laurie, hang on. We're going to send you a Mr. Floor cleaning product of your choice. That was our video producer, Brendan, coughing and spitting in the background and sneezing, in case you were wondering.
It's allergy season.
It's okay. Just louder next time, Brendan, so they can hear you in Alaska. So hang on, Lori. 312-981-7200. MegaPros call, text, and photo line. We will talk humidity, because that, I'm sure you get that a lot. What type of floor do I have? And
All the time.
okay, so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the interesting conversation we had during the break with Kari. I also want Sarah to jump in about how it's impacting younger kids. Younger adults buying. I'm sorry. Here's the boomer in me, 55 years old. And Stephen to chime in. It'll be like a round table. But I want to talk about humidity levels. But I feel that this cost of everything going up, it impacts everything. And Steve's got a big factor because he also does a lot of bankruptcy work as well. So when anybody calls from the show that needs bank, I can't help. I send them to Steve, especially if they are going into foreclosure, because I know you could stop the foreclosure with the bankruptcy. So let's take a quick break, talk about humidity real quick, and then come back and let's have this roundtable conversation. Because I think it's important for our listeners to understand, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to continue to rent, but that rent payment has also gone up, as Kari mentioned during our conversation during the break. So let's take a quick break. You ready, Benny? 312-981-7200 is a MegaPro's call. Text and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN. Yeah, so let's do...
That's my favorite Igor discussion. Humidity.
Humidity.
You really do like that.
I know I do.
We, like on your show, we got into the weeds. I go like all hygroscopic.
I love that. I love it.
I forgot until you mentioned it.
What other floor guy could you go into and talk? He uses a lot of 3-syllable, 4-syllable words. Love it.
Wordle type words.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
So what's up with this guy you're dating? Is he a keeper or are you going to dump him?
He's the keeper.
Really?
He's the keeper.
Why do you care?
I see pictures.
Oh,
He's
carry
the
on.
keeper.
I didn't
God, I see her pictures.
I didn't know she
that-
was like showing you and
She's not showing
asking an
me.
opinion.
No, she's showing
I don't have
everybody.
flooring on my phone. I have no.
Now, what does he do? What's his...
He's in real estate.
Shocking.
Perfect.
Same
Shocking.
thing. Keep it in the
Caldwell
business.
Banker award dinner. Here I am.
See, I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, diversification.
Yeah,
you know,
diversification
Yeah,
would have
put it
been
all
You're in
one
real
basket.
estate. He's in like meat distribution.
Are
or
you guys
something,
in compete? Are you guys compete against each other, or is he somewhere?
No, not really. I mean, it's all kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all ball bearing.
Yes.
Is he part of your Colorado?
Yes.
Oh,
He runs the Colorado.
oh, there you go.
Yes.
Cool.
So it better be he better be a keeper if he's running things out there.
So
Right.
where's the ring?
No.
I like being unmarried.
Goddamn right, Kari Kohler.
Oh, Kari. Love
Like
that.
this girl even more right there. Why buy the cow?
Grab the milk.
Oh, don't buy the cow.
Why buy the bull?
Why buy the bull?
Let a little graze out there.
If this doesn't work with a lease, I'll be living in my car in Boys Town. Because I'm switching jerseys and I'm calling it. I'll be 0 for 2 and then I'll be broke.
Yep.
Broken single.
Broken single and I can't figure it out. And obviously I gotta try
You'll
something.
be fine.
I'm gonna read
She's not
Steve's
going
book.
She's not gonna kick you in the fur.
I'm gonna read Leahy's book and how to date men over 50.
Over 50.
I don't date men over 50.
No, but you write books about it. It's fine.
I'll have to buy that book.
Yeah.
Not the men over 50,
No.
but dating over 50.
He'll autograph it for you. If you ask.
Yeah, you do whatever you want with it. That's good. I'll
Just
tell
so you
what.
know, I'm a happily married man.
Yeah, I was waiting to see what happened there.
Here he
Single
is.
person in this room.
Ask his wife.
Is that-
That's Teresa. Not so much.
Single, no kid person.
Well, he's happily married.
He's happily married.
We don't know about the other
He's
side.
miserable.
well, she is married to me.
I know. That's why she's miserable.
The man's always the last to know. What do you mean you're unhappy? I thought everything was great.
What's this
What do you mean you
process
filed
over
for
there?
divorce?
It's not you, it's me.
Are you Mr.
No,
Leahy? Yes.
Oh,
There you
my
go.
wife would say, it isn't me, it's you.
Yeah.
It's you. I like that.
All right. Here we go. All right. So come back with humidity, and then we'll talk, and then we'll just get into this discussion because I think it's fascinating. Yes.
That was good. That was good. Has to do.
He's been itching
It
until
never
you-
fails, David.
Until you got back. I'm like, Benny, you got that? I got it. Yeah. So I got a button here that I can communicate to all our listeners to the control booth that you can't hear when somebody says something. Like, you got that, Benny? Benny's like, got it. Mark, queued up, we're ready to go next time he's coming up.
Yeah, I did notice.
312-981-7200. Humidity. Let's talk about humidity. Going into winter, you said turn your humidifiers on because your wood's going to be negatively impacted. Now we're coming out of the winter, we're coming out of the dry air, which makes it even drier with the heat on in your house. It dries out the wood. Now we're going into spring. What should our listeners do to be prepared?
So in October, David, you and I were discussing what happens to wood flooring when humidity conditions drop. And you're absolutely right. I was telling everybody to make sure that they're running their humidifiers, turn them on now, turn them on immediately, and get yourself in a position where you've got proper humidification at home to minimize. You can't really eliminate, but to at least minimize the gaps that we all experience in the Chicagoland area. So now that we're transitioning into the summer months, everybody that has or had gapped floors is now going to start to see those gaps closing up because the floor is actually going to physically grow. It's actually going to change shape, and it's going to get larger, and those gaps will fill up. So what we want to do right now is we actually want to turn off the humidification, because if we have too much humidity as we transition, exactly right, and I taught you well.
Yep.
And so what is cupping? Cupping is an imbalance where the floor actually curls at the edges. And it's in essence looking for equilibrium. So we want to help it along by turning down the humidifiers.
Turn it down now?
You could start to turn them down now, although it's I think
supposed to get cold.
I think you said it's supposed to snow or something.
Yeah, I heard some. I could have sworn I heard something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So humidity and temperature are related in the sense that as humidity conditions change with temperature, the wood floors will absorb or release that excess moisture. We want to keep them in stasis, and what stasis basically, or static environment, is as an even environment as we can achieve. So if we can maintain your home humidity between 30 and 50% year-round, we're going to have very minimal movement of that wood floor, because we, as you know, David, we pre-acclimate our floors. So when we do an installation, we'll actually keep the floors in a static environment. We'll acclimate slightly up and slightly down in relative humidity and moisture content year-round. So when we install your floors, they're designed to live properly in that 30 to 50 range. So we have some clients that do not run air conditioning, and their homes could be 90 degrees and 85% relative humidity. Their floors are going to not only cup, they're going to buckle.
Sure.
Because even though there's an expansion joint left of the outer perimeter, that floor is going to want to expand and is going to push up against those walls, and it's literally going to create almost like a speed bump in the living room. So we want to make sure that we maintain 30 to 50% relative humidity as much as possible, because that is the proper sort of magic sort of zone for a wood floor to function correctly.
All right, 312-917-7200 to MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. If our listeners want to reach out to you and your fine team at Mr. Floor, how do they reach out to you?
You can give us a call directly at 847-674-7500 or visit us online at mrfloor.com. And David, as we always mention, when people are ready to try our line of cleaning products, go to mrfloor.com and use the discount code WGN for a very nice discount on your first order.
And Lisa Dent, we sent a free sample to her, a complimentary sample, and she's very happy.
Oh, great.
Very, very
I'm
happy.
happy to hear that.
Maybe she's listening, probably not. But she is. Maybe you can call into the show. 312-981-7200, MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. Let's talk about foreclosures real quick, then come out of the break and talk about what we were talking about in more details. Stephen A. Leahy, you're getting more and more calls.
But before we talk about that, let me answer this text here about property taxes in Cook County, because this is one of the first. It's is the second installment for property taxes going to be late this year? And just a short answer is yes. They've already announced that it may go. Because the price, right? The second installment is the one where they make the adjustments, right? So and they're not going to be able to do that, and they're saying they may not do it till January next year. God. And so what is that? That's good because your taxes don't come due, but that's bad because then you might have 2 tax bills come due within a month.
Installments due on March 1st.
Yeah, the first installment.
Right.
Yeah. So
they were on such a good roll there for so long.
Well, pandemic really messed everything up for them. Because they were all staying home. There wasn't anybody doing the work.
What? They don't have computers at home to do what the.
I don't know. It's like the IRS, right? The pandemic. They're so far behind in everything. They blame it on.
They all got paid, right?
On budget. They never missed a paycheck. No, they always blame it on the budget, but it's really not the budget. My own opinion.
So the second installment, I heard that too. The second installment this year in Cook County, which is usually due
August 1st. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Due August 1st, or
it's all due on August 1st, or the bills come out August 1st.
Come out August 1st, due September 1st.
Yeah.
And then the first installment that come out February 1st, due March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to absolutely screw everything up.
Absolutely, it will.
Absolutely.
And so again, it's good that you won't have to pay, but then you'll have to pay twice. And
back to back.
Yeah. So if they do it January, the first bill comes out February 1st. It's due March. So
well, the College counties, Kari, are used to that, June and August, which is, I don't understand that either. I mean, that's if you're not escrowing your taxes and you get 2 tax bills within 90 days, that is, especially with the property taxes out by where you're selling real estate, that's a big shock if you don't have that money set.
absolutely.
Yes.
Big hits. June and August. Bam, bam. We're right after that.
That's why escrow is so, it makes sense to escrow. Even if you don't have an escrow with your mortgage, you should still put some money aside.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but almost nobody does. So
Yeah, but guys, I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, we all pay property taxes twice a year. So more or less, regardless of when the bill is due, aren't you putting money aside?
well, you'd
more or
hope
less?
so. That's what I mean. You'd like to think you are.
But you want Cook County to get
Okay,
it right.
So I help a lot of people with taxes, as you may know.
Sure.
And a lot of people put off, that you should pay quarterly, right? But a lot of people don't. They wait till the end of the year, and then they're surprised when their bill comes out and they don't have the money to pay it all. And that's just the way it is. And obviously you should put money aside. Makes sense. And actually, with the IRS, you're required to pay quarterly if you owed last year. And so if you don't pay quarterly, there is a penalty. It's really just the interest from the months that are due, and so you wind up paying more money. I don't know. I think everybody pays enough taxes. You'd want to lower what you pay taxes.
Filing extensions, which are due April 15th is the date.
April 18th this year.
April 18th of this year. My CPA sent over something. I signed it. He's like, I could pay electronically. I'm like, do it. Boom. I have to mail the state portion in, which makes absolutely no sense. But okay, whatever. So I got to mail it in 1 year. Word to the wise. I know I've spoken about this on the show before. I sent in my extension, and because my accountant emailed it to me, he's like, print this out, sign it, send it in. I said, okay. I forgot, the part about with the check. Okay, so I sent it in, signed it, sent it in. I get a notice from the IRS. We love you so much, we're going to penalize you. Thank you for sending in your extension with no money behind it, and here's a whatever fine.
So the fine for not paying is much more than the fine for not filing or filing on time. Let me.
That's supposed to make you feel better?
No, it's actually the failure to file. So that's why you want to get it filed. You want an extension because that's 5% a month for
I totally get it. But
for
you
filing.
send them some type of money.
But it's only 0.5% for late for not paying enough, right? So the penalty is a lot less. But again, that's why you always want to get your extension in on time. This year, again, it's at April 18th, and that's because Emancipation Day is today.
Okay.
Right, I was just saying. Now he's like, "What's Emancipation Day?" Emancipation Day is a holiday in D.C. that's celebrated on the 16th of April, or the first or the nearest weekday, which would have been Friday the 15th, and that's why the IRS is closed. So they put it to Monday the 18th. That's why.
I got a headache.
I know.
312-981-7200.
I love that stuff.
All right, I want to talk about foreclosures because it comes into what we were talking about prior to the previous break about the costs of everything going up and how it's impacting, and if you want to rent, it's still going to cost you more. If you want to go with a different type of flooring, it's still going to cost you more. And no matter where you turn, you're turning into more expensive options, and it's going to cost you money regardless. I want to talk about the foreclosures because you're in that space.
Yes.
And then I want to have an open discussion of all of our expertise in all of our areas of expertise as to what our listeners should expect, because all they hear is inflation, prices up, they're experiencing higher prices on everything across the board, and what can they do about it? So that's what we're going to talk about after Steve talks about foreclosure, after we send it to Kevin in the newsroom. 312-981-7200. Gail and Rolling Meadows will pick you up on the other side of the break. Hang tight. 312-981-7200. It's a MegaPost call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago at 720 WGN. All right, so that's good. That was fun. So, this is a 6-minute break.
Do you think that
there's a
I
long
should talk
break.
about we offer financing
Talk
options?
about your Aunt Debbie.
I ain't talking about
You
her.
love her so much.
I do. I love her dearly. I'm not talking about
What do you want to talk about foreclosures?
Well, I'll mention that about. I could talk about that moratorium, what happened there, but we could talk about just the number. I think more of these mortgage companies are working on loan modifications than they ever did. So they're getting, but again, if you're not working, you can't pay your loan modification. What good is it?
So what is it?
Okay,
So
then I'll stay away from that. That's not exciting.
so I said that the owners of investment properties that had renters got fucking reamed.
Yes.
Because they could try to sell their home, but who the fuck's going to buy a home with renters that aren't paying rent?
Nobody. Yes.
So those people are now having a.
Was that you telling me the story about somebody that the guy sold his house and then didn't move out, and then they couldn't get the guy out?
That wasn't me.
So the guy sold his house. They went to closing. He didn't move out, and they couldn't get him out because of the
He just squatted.
because of the foreclosure, the moratorium on
But he sold his
evictions.
house.
I know, but there's
Oh, there was a renter in there.
no, it's him. He stayed, but there was
owner stayed.
the owner stayed.
Okay.
This is what someone's telling me. That he just stayed, and there was a moratorium on evictions. They didn't evict anybody, so you have to go to court
You
and evict
gotta
them.
be shitting.
No,
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that either.
no, there's going to be some.
The guy
There's going to be a
sold his
price to
house.
pay. There's going to be a price to pay, but it's going to be down the
What is
road.
the price going to be to pay? What's going to happen?
Well, you have the damages. The person that couldn't take over the house, right? They didn't get in, so they're going to have a lot of damages.
They're going to sue a guy with no money, right?
Well, you think here? You know what happened with foreclosure with renters? A lot of people who didn't miss a one paycheck just stopped paying their rent,
Right.
Because there was a moratorium. It didn't matter. You can't evict me, and so it's not because they didn't have the money. They just didn't.
Right.
There's nothing you can do.
And they didn't help their landlord out by filing the paperwork so they could get the money.
But even if they did, part of the requirement is that whole COVID impacted you, and it didn't impact them, so they didn't qualify for the money.
So fucked up. So what the court do?
Oh, that was just some story that told me. That wasn't the court, but again, these are where it comes from. That, as you just mentioned, who wants to buy a rental property with somebody in there that you can't get rid of? The guy won't move. I can't move
An
in.
income property not generating any income. What's it worth?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
And
Take
then
on a
you
headache.
with the Michigan
You gotta
of the person not moving out.
You got to take on a headache.
And now you're at.
The
interest rates have doubled. So you missed your opportunity to dump it at the peak of the market
Yeah.
when the market needed all that inventory.
Yep.
It's fucking ridiculous.
That's one reason why we had no inventory, right?
It's a big reason.
Because people aren't
I mean, a
going.
huge reason is they stopped building houses in
Well,
quantity.
that's
After,
true too.
when we came out of
That's true too. Yeah.
07, 08, because a lot of the builders went out of business, and there was never, we're still catching up to that.
But I'm not entirely convinced that the price of houses is going to go down right now because demand is still so
Demand is so
strong.
strong, but then where does that demand fall off?
Well, I know, but there's just not enough. I mean, there's just there literally are not enough homes in the
100%.
United States, which is
100%.
wild. So I go home and I'm like, oh my god, for my home.
Yeah. I say that too.
Because I'm thinking about, so I live in a 1,100 square foot house, so I'm going to have to get a bigger house in 5 years if I want to have
You're going to keep having these
I have
babies.
4
There
bedrooms.
was 7 of us living in 3 bedrooms when I grew up.
I have 4
That was
bedrooms. One of them's
1952.
like Harry
So what?
Potter's closet.
Well, you kids gotta hit their own
But
roof now?
and
Yeah.
I'm starting to save and think
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
a down payment.
And their own
whatnot.
cars. And their own
When
bathroom.
I first got to, I was 19.
We bought
own
my
everything.
house with the help of my parents, and they helped me remodel it.
Yeah.
Did they?
Purchased for $120. In this market, I don't know. Hector said I could probably get 220, 230.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
pay me 80
fantastic.
grand, you owe me.
I owe them 80
Yeah,
grand.
pay me 8,000. I'll take it. Go ahead. Sell
Once,
it.
but I think if I stay in it a couple
So
more
someone's
years,
asking me about, or asking you, David, about
that would be the
the.
best case
their-
scenario. I just added actually to my
They say
monthly principal,
they're
paying more money
listed as
for
having a
all
finished
the-
attic
yeah.
and 2-car garage, but they don't have they have an unfinished attic and a 1-car garage. Does that affect?
$100 extra.
Double it.
The answer is probably does.
I got childcare expenses.
The answer
I don't
is-
have childcare
it depends.
expenses.
Yeah, it probably does affect your assessment,
Right now,
right?
so.
Two in college now.
Because that's how they're going to look at
ASU.
the comps,
And
and that's how they decide what your
That's-
taxes are going to
ASU,
be.
That's a fun school.
So-
I don't know about an unfinished basement though. It's like, I mean, unfinished attic. It's like an unfinished basement.
In Tempe.
That doesn't really. How much does that work in a house, David?
I'm sure mine are at the
On the
library.
value of a home?
Wow, I bet.
Is that what the bar is called? I would
Yeah,
every
the library.
No, of a basement, of a finished basement versus unfinished basement. I mean, it doesn't have a big impact on the value, does it?
Idea, okay.
Can?
It's a cute idea,
What are
though.
they studying?
One is studying finance, and the other one's studying communications.
Very cool. Awesome.
Is anybody going to follow your steps?
My oldest son already has his license here in Illinois, and he's
Really?
going to come home and
That's good.
yeah,
My oldest son has a real
over the
estate
kingdom?
license.
take over the kingdom. Although he wants to, go to New York City and sell
Sure.
real estate because
And I
St.
guess
Charles
everything
is
ready
boring.
for the 45
My
break.
best advice I could give to anybody who has a parent who has a business is follow your parents into that business.
Right,
Yeah.
Why not?
It wasn't my initial plan, but where I ended is
right.
this will be the
Right.
life.
She was a political science major.
You just go to school, get a degree. A
Yeah,
senior
get a
in it.
degree, yeah,
Go
you
to
know.
work, don't go to school.
Or go
Yeah.
to trade
It's a
school.
pretty cool life.
Degree, learn how to learn, and
Drive around me for you.
And if the bottom ever falls out of this business, I have a new plan. I'm going to be a plumber.
perfect.
Yeah, that's my plan. I'd be a great, excellent plumber.
Why? You clean your toilet out.
She'll
Why
learn.
would you
She
pick
knows how to
plumber?
learn.
Why would you pick plumber?
She knows how to learn.
Because I don't want to do electrical because I want to get electrocuted. That's all. I just think plumbing's.
Well, think what happens if you're a bad electrician, you get electrocuted. If you're a bad plumber, what happens?
Yeah, you're understanding.
So I don't know. That's
You know
a,
what, though? Actually, one of my really good friends
He
got
covered in
killed
shit.
on the job as a plumber.
Oh no.
Yeah, really good guy. One of the best.
Yeah.
What if the,
I don't
Are we
know.
down in a hole? Maybe?
I'm
I
thinking
don't
about what if the
know,
toilet
but
backs
I
up
mean,
and just
super
rockets shit into your
strong,
face?
very.
it's job hazard.
Machinery,
Oh, yeah.
bobcats. Yeah.
Plumber's a good job, though. They make pretty good money.
Whatever God's plan
Some are
is.
more risk. higher
Most of
risk.
the trades do.
Yeah.
The most danger I've had to
My
deal
dad
with
was
is
a
a
roofing
bird
contractor.
attacking my drone.
I would have followed his footsteps.
No, I
And
don't
that was your drone that was in danger, not you.
Yeah, well, that's $500 out of my
Well, that's-
pocket right there.
Roofing's hard.
No, thank you.
I see those guys when it's 90, 5 degrees here in Chicago up on roofs, and I'm like,
A lot of these
man.
guys are subs and they'll work from sundown to sunrise to sunset because they want to finish their job and go on to the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're out there 12 hours more.
Oh,
it's
it's-
amazing.
Stand by.
There we go. All right, you're going to come out of foreclosure talk? There we go. 312-981-7200. Megapro's call, text, and photo line. We're going to get some calls here, Steve, real quick. Gail of Rolling Meadows, you have a question for Sarah.
Hi. Yes. Thank you. What? Oh my god. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay.
How about moving?
Yeah, maybe moving. So you're on a bog? Is that what you said? Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. So. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Do you know what thickness your driveway was that you just replaced or that you just got done? Okay. Yeah, definitely. So, we would probably do the same thing, 6, 7, maybe 8 inches. We're gonna take out a little bit more, excavate down, and maybe do like 6 or 7 inches of a sub base. and then we could put pylons down in the bedrock, and we could use a high strength, more durable concrete. So that would be our plan of execution. Are you ready for a new driveway right now? So what does your driveway look like currently? Is it cracked? Is it sinking? Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So my suggestion as a good starting place for you would be to contact a civil engineer and possibly get some drawings for your new driveway, and they'll do some soil samples and just get a little bit. You've done that, so you have all that. Wow. Okay. Okay. I don't. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's could be a solution. Well,
I like my idea better.
yeah, I don't know. How important, you could just, do you have street parking? I mean, at this rate, I'm, mm-hmm. Right. Have the same issue happen. Mm-hmm. Right.
You got it's an envelope. It's an envelope full of 100. It's called the Benjamin.
Yeah.
Right? I'll make. You just got to do that. So tell me, why don't you give follow up with a phone call?
Absolutely. Yeah. My dad can come out and take a look at it and look over anything you have from the civil engineer. But you can give us a call at 708-863-5735. And thank you for reaching out to us with that very unique issue. I'm very excited to follow up, and we'll let everybody on air know next time when I'm on what comes out of this.
And Gail, tell Grace what Mr. Floyd cleaning product complimentary you would like. Phil in Rockford, you have a forbearance question for Stephen A. Leahy. Go ahead, you're on the air. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Do you have an FHA loan or a conventional loan? All right, so Steve, FHA, for our listeners that don't know this, FHA will take all of the money that their borrowers did not pay, add it as a second behind their first, as a 0% interest rate second, and allow the borrower to continue to make the payment on the first loan, which is great if you have an FHA loan. And what's the rate? And what's the rate of your first loan? Well, you're nowhere near that today.
So let me tell you this: it's not really a second; it just becomes a non-interest-bearing portion of the first, because you can't modify. You modify the loan, so it's not really a second mortgage. It's just part. It just adds to the first.
Well, and they,
Just give them the facts,
Okay.
David. Okay, so what happened, again, this is what, and I always tell people this when they get a loan modification. Oftentimes when you get a loan modification, you wind up being a renter because you never really get that value back. Sometimes they'll go to 40 years. So now I have a 40-year loan, so I'm paying very little off on my principal, and I have this lump sum that's due at the end because I'm not paying anything off on it. And so often, again, unless you're there for a very long time, you're just a renter.
But,
and now a lot of people want to stay in their house. It doesn't really matter to them. They want to stay there.
But the yin to the yang is for Phil in Rockford. He just went 24 months without spending a dime.
That's right.
On his mortgage payment.
That's right.
I don't know what you spent. All right, 12 months.
Yeah, 4. He said 4. So
All right, some have been 24 months.
it's true.
So, he either used that money to survive or to, like some of our borrowers did, bought widescreen TVs and fixed up their homes. Good. Good.
Well, that would be the best thing, and I think we talk a lot about this right at the beginning, David. Right? We want to, get the forbearance, put the money aside, because you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knew what was happening in March 2020. Nobody knew. So keep the money if you can, but keep the money because then if things come around, then it comes due, you can pay it off, and then you're right back where you were. And then you don't have to worry about a loan modification.
It's a 0% finance, whatever you want to call it, behind attached. You're not being charged. You're not paying a nickel on it. You're not getting any charge any interest with an FHA loan. So forget about it. Okay, start the payments at 3 1/4, and don't look back because you're not touching that.
Just be aware, though, if you're gonna refi, you're gonna have to refi that whole lump sum amount.
Yeah,
right.
You gotta bring it back.
But it makes it very difficult because a lot of people don't know that. That at least remember we talk a lot about 2008. The horror stories, and one of those things where this happened to a lot of people where they got this non-interest bearing account, and so they look at and then they try to refinance, and they think that their mortgage is one thing, but when they add the non-interest bearing account, it's more. So people get surprised.
Not gonna be refinancing anytime.
No, I hear you.
Feel better, Phil? All right, but hey, hang on for your Mr. Floor Cleaning Part. We're going to take a quick break. 312-981-7200. Now we're going to have the conversation I've been teasing about for 45 minutes when we come out of the break. Because I think it's important. We're going to take it to the other end, on the other side too, because it's a huge topic that our listeners are very, very concerned about. Where's this going? How are they going to survive? When are we coming out of it? And what they could do to get to the other side. Because I don't see any relief in sight for interest rates anytime soon. And anybody in the mortgage industry will tell you this is a long-term hold here for the next 12 to 24 months until the economy slows down or something happens and they have to drop rates again in order to get it going. So let's talk about how our listeners can survive. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. It's a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
All right, you have no idea how excited I am for this rejoin coming up. And David, if you take a look at the hotkeys very carefully, to the right of the Taxman lyrics, you'll notice I added something for you.
Oh, yeah. You found it.
Found it.
Okay.
Steven, I am so sorry.
He's been working on this for a while.
I'm sure I'll laugh. I'm sure I'll find it funny.
All right, so Kari, I'm going to, after Steve gets done pontificate, well, he's done. So,
He's done.
well, I'm going to start with you.
Oh dear.
And then I'm going to throw it to, I'm going to incorporate everybody in.
Sure.
About how we're seeing everything. Because there's going to come a point where people are going to, there's only so much money. Okay, you're paying $300 more for gas. You're paying $300 more a month for food if you could find it, at least.
If you can find it.
If you could find it, right? So there's if you're not buying a house, it's costing you $350 more for a $300,000 mortgage, $400 more. You go to 5, it's costing you $600 more. Student loans, got no what they're going to do there. That should start up anytime soon. I mean, you got, where's that $1,000? You got Steve's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of people filing bankruptcy. Truly believe that.
That's not my favorite market.
No. What is your favorite market then?
People who haven't filed their tax return in some years.
Okay.
That's my favorite market. Realtors.
Realtors, they forget to file
They're
their
1099s.
Yeah.
Right? So any business person, any small business person. That's my market. Problem with bankruptcies is the government tells you what you can charge. You know? And so, and it's still, you know, I had a guy tell me once, you know, Steve, why would anybody work for an industry where the government can tell you how much you could charge? Well, that's why they're getting. That's right.
Government tells us we can charge.
Yeah,
We're regulated.
You're regulated completely.
We got 30 seconds. Yeah. They regulate us.
I know. They don't. You don't have to have every loan. I guess you do, but like for bankruptcy, they look at every charge, every agreement that I have with the client.
We can only make a percentage of the loan amount. Doesn't matter how big of a pain in the ass the borrower is and how much they fuck you over.
Same thing in bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if it's a doctor making hundreds of thousands or just a guy who's chain. They want you to charge the same.
All right, stand by.
Doesn't make any sense.
There we go. Enjoy this, Steve, for you. Three 312-981-7200. Benny's been working on that for months. 312-981-7200. Nice job, Mr. Anderson.
You know, he's got a talent.
He does have a talent.
He doesn't know that I love Batman too, because
That's great.
That may be the case, but you know, I'm just talking about his talent.
No, I agree.
Click, that's people turn their radio down. 312-981-7200. All right, let's get into this. Foreclosures are up, Stephen A. Leahy. Okay, because moratorium ended at the end of November. Rates are up, Kari Kohler, from 3.25% to 5.25%.
Yes.
We heard Sarah and Igor both state that all of their costs are up from rebar that goes into the structure of big concrete projects. It has doubled, and we know what gas has done, and we know what the price of wood it has done because Igor's been talking about it. And what do people do? So if take us on the viewpoint of a realtor. If you're going to buy and you can't afford to buy, you're going to go rent. Is there any relief on the renting side that you're seeing?
There is no relief on the renting side. First of all, it's hard to find rentals, number one, and then number two, the price of rent has just skyrocketed.
So what are you anticipating? Where does it go where you're still going to have listen, at 18%, when Joe was a little lad and bought his first home, people were still buying homes at 18%. When I got in the mortgage industry in August of 2000, we were trading 30-year fixed, 6 and 8% 30-year fixed loans. Business was being done. Okay, so there will be business transaction that will be transacted. Borrowers will borrow at whatever level they have to borrow to get the money. But with that feeding frenzy when the rates were at 2.5 and 2.75, and everybody was coming out and going crazy, it's not there. Okay, so we now morph into, there comes an inflection point where that casual buyer, if they don't buy, they're going to turn around and rent, and the rent's going to be almost double what it was a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So they're going to be in a quagmire there, if you will, that, okay, I don't want to buy. I've got my 3%, 3.5%, 5% down. All right, it's too expensive because interest rates have gone from 3s into the 5s. I'm going to go rent. Oh, okay, well now that rental went from how much, Sarah?
You can't get a rental in Cook County for 2 bedrooms under $1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah.
And a couple of months ago, you could probably get it. A couple of years ago, you could probably get it for $750, $800.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so now you scale that up, okay, into higher amenity rentals. Okay, a lot of rentals going up in Northbrook. Okay, the Lane and a bunch of these other things going up. $3,300 to $4,000 for a 2-bedroom rental.
Yes.
But they're fully furnished.
Not some of them. Some of them. Some are, but some aren't.
All right.
Okay, but they have a lot of amenities. So that's where we're at.
Right.
Let's turn it into where do people stop giving you a call to stop maintaining their homes?
But it's kind of like what we've been discussing, and that is that, is it a want or is it a need, right? And I think, it applies across the board to all of our industries. And I think what one way to potentially look at it, David, you talked about, when Steve was a lad, at 14, 15, 16%, whatever it is that he was paying for his first mortgage. But, you're talking about 50 years of inflation.
Sure.
Right? So a jump from 3 to 5 with current inflation and current cost of living is a significant jump for a lot of people. You said yourself, it's what, $120,
$127 a month more to finance every $100,000 from the beginning of the year to now, 100 days of the year.
Okay, so now what is that per year on a $300,000 mortgage?
$380 a month.
Okay, so that's a significant amount of money.
Huge.
When you add what it costs you to fill up your gas tank and eggs and milk and all of that. So I think you have to look at it in its totality in terms of what the overall cost of living is right now.
Let's talk about that more in detail when we come out of the break, because I got to throw it to Kevin in the newsroom. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. It's a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN. All right, so let's blow that up a little bit.
So not only am I a flooring expert,
You are an economic expert.
I have an economics degree. That's right.
Right.
Really? That's cool.
That is cool.
University of Illinois.
That is no easy
Your alma
school.
mater.
Not mine. My kids.
Oh, your kids.
His money's all mine.
Okay. That's right. Yeah.
He's financing.
David, the other problem is the investors are not buying houses anymore to rent because they're too expensive.
They can't make money.
And so that's where I run into a lot.
That's where the pullback is.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Right, that's another pullback for sure.
And the cash buyers aren't buying
Yeah.
at this level because
No.
they like Dave and I, we think that there's going to be a correction somewhere.
Well, cash investors aren't
Cash
buying
investors,
because
right.
there's a lot of cash buyers
That are now
as you
sitting
know.
on the bench.
Yeah.
So that will calm it down a little
Yeah.
bit. And those cash investors are not going to all of these different places to buy different products in order to
And
put
then
in the house.
to make the house better.
Yeah.
See, but those are really not my clients. Like for me, that's not the industry that we operate in.
With
Not
investors.
With investors, right?
Okay.
So because I'm going to be too expensive for them anyway. Right?
Right.
They're looking for the chuck in the truck.
Right.
Like, they're not going to hire you.
No
They're not
way.
going to hire me. They're not going to hire,
Right.
they're not going to hire Joe based on
No shot.
pricing.
Yeah, no way.
Right? Because they don't care about the quality. They don't
Quality.
care about the longevity. I mean, your stuff's going to last 30, 50 years. My stuff's going to last, significantly longer than anybody else. But they're not interested in it. So that's why that's not a concern for me. What becomes a concern for me, and potentially even for you, is that stagnation that's going to happen, right?
Sorry,
Where the mortgage rate and the value of the home are at a point where it doesn't make sense for them to spend that additional dollar to improve their property.
Yep.
And that's when the collapse comes.
How do we get out of the
Yeah.
collapse then?
Drop right.
Okay, I only marked
Sell everything, move to Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Maybe that time.
You have to drop interest rates to stimulate the economy.
This cut so I can
And all this bullshit about a soft landing,
more.
No way. There's a big
there's no fucking
Yeah,
thing
they're
such thing
gonna
as a
talk about
soft landing.
stuff.
Not with these idiots.
Well, my hope is that if people are staying in their homes, like he told me, I was so young during 2008, but he told me that you did great business during the recession, right? Because people were staying in their homes.
They weren't building new.
They weren't, yeah.
Home
They
just
were
We don't do new
40%.
construction, so never.
That's fortified.
Thank you.
It's up to you if you want to take that and roll with it.
I don't know. I don't
So,
know.
Well-
so it's going to get to a point where things will slow down. Remember a couple of years ago when
But they're trying to slow things down. That's the thing. That's the point of
I fully understand.
interest
but-
rates, because they're trying to take some of the heat, some of the cash
Okay.
out of the market.
Okay, so just supposed to solidify why they have no idea what they're doing. Okay, you ready? If they're trying to slow it down, then why put student loan payments on hold?
Because that's a political
Okay,
reason.
but
It's not an economic reason.
That's my
midterm
point.
elections.
Okay, that's my point.
Yes.
Right?
So they know exactly what they're doing. They just don't care.
And they're going to
what
fucking
cost.
make it worse.
That's the
Right, so by not doing what they should be doing, they're making it worse.
So
See you guys later.
Thanks, Blake.
see ya.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me bust your balls.
Oh, anytime. Appreciate that.
Join the club.
No, but that's the point. You're going to tell me that these guys that we're supposed to entrust with a soft landing, when you've got, you could pull $350, I read that somewhere. Okay, $350 for the average student loan payment is $350, which I think is ridiculously low, but that's fine. Because the credit reports that I see, they're a lot greater than $350. But take $350. Okay, so if we're trying to slow the economy down, we're giving these people that took out student loans, signed a contract to pay the loan back in the future at a certain rate, a certain time, a certain monthly payment. And we're going to say, no, you're fine. How's that going to fucking slow the economy down? It's going to make it worse.
Well, but again, if your goal is to
Slow the economy.
curb inflation,
You're going to jack the
you
rates
have
up.
to slow down the economy, which means you have to jack up the rates,
I get it.
take that money supply down,
Correct.
which slows things down. There is no parachute at that point.
No
You're
parachute.
free falling. How do they know at what point they're
We
going
don't.
to? So it's a.
Because you don't know that you're in a recession until we've been in a recession.
That's
for 6
exactly
months.
right. So it's always looking in the rearview mirror.
Right.
6 to 12 months.
I've been through these cycles 3-4
Yeah.
times.
As I
So
so we've
is
done the same
everybody
thing, right? We've seen the
These
same.
fucking idiots. Well, it's a soft land. You remember that Chinese jet that fell out of the sky at 30,000 feet and did a nosedive about a month ago?
Yeah.
And killed all
Yeah.
the shit. That's a soft landing where you know that we're in for. Okay.
But that's why people on the real estate side of things may or may not continue to buy, even if they have disposable, they may not buy because
They're scared.
They're scared. They're concerned. They're pulling at the last minute, not for the $300 a month or whatever it is. Is the fact
They're
that
buying
they
it for
think
cash.
they think it's overvalued.
Yeah.
They're worried about the crash, and if they live through 2008, then yeah, they're
Right.
worried about the crash.
And they don't know if they can get the materials they need to do the work they need to do in the houses that they're
At
buying
a
for cash.
reasonable price.
And there's no reasonable price.
They cannot get because it's an unreasonable time right now.
How many reasonable price houses have you come across in the past freaking 24 months?
Well, actually, the 2 I bought in Vegas were reasonable.
No, look at you, Miss Big Shot.
I know. I just waited on the fence. I did. I was going to live in a hotel until something good happened, and I just
Yeah, you jumped in.
But that's because I was living and breathing and just.
Yeah.
If I was just, was distracted by other things, I wouldn't have been able to. If it wasn't my industry, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right. But it's crazy that everybody thinks that you're going to be, oh, we're going to have a soft landing, we're going to have a soft landing. There's no fucking thing.
Who says that?
Everybody says that.
Nobody's talking about soft landing. Well,
The Fed chair says, oh, yeah.
Joe Biden says it. He's the only one that says
He's
that.
going to have a soft landing.
But the Fed was talking about transitory inflation when it was obvious it was not transitory. So for Chairman Powell to talk about
They're back to that too, talking about a transitory again.
transitory,
There's no, what the hell does that mean?
transitory inflation, meaning temporary, meaning that there's a spike as a response to high demand, low supply.
Around for 4 hours.
But you're talking about global low supply, global changes disrupted. So you're not going to really.
This is interesting.
This is going.
This is so interesting. Such an interesting time.
Hey, Hochberg,
It's not
they
like
own
anybody
screen
didn't
repair
warn of
business
this
and
happening.
supplies
What's that?
cost
Let's say it's not like anybody didn't
$1,000
warn of this. I mean,
I know.
we would say it for years. This is what's going to happen.
Money that was going out. Yeah.
If you build everything overseas,
Right.
when all your aspirin is made in China and you need aspirin and they say we're not selling
What
it to
about
you.
masks?
I know. That was a perfect example, yes.
I mean, so masks went from costing 50 cents a mask to whatever it was, $10 a mask.
It was $150 for a box of masks.
There you go.
And then our local pharmacist, who does a shit ton of the, Dundee Pharmacy, local pharmacy, family owned, been there forever. People are ripping them, right? And my wife's like, yeah, you got to come in over the top.
Gouging, right? Yeah.
So I'm like, hey. I spent $12.50 for 4 ounces of hand sanitizers at the 7-Eleven. I go, you know why? Because that was the cost of the 4 ounces. And at that time, I would have paid $50 for the 4 ounces because nobody could have it. They go, lay off.
We started making our own hand sanitizer for our guys. because we could not buy it.
Right.
We could
Couldn't
not buy
get
it.
it.
And so we started reformulating. I mean, now that our cleaning products have anything to do with hand sanitizer, but some of the products, we were able to get formulate
Hang on.
crude hand sanitizer, and we couldn't buy it. I mean, it came to that,
Never thought that happened in America.
right?
Just a tease. Just a
No,
tease.
never thought about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just gonna be cold.
We just we can.
I thought they said snow.
Cold time.
It's supposed to be 70 by next Thursday or Friday. See
Next
that?
weekend's gonna be
Right?
great.
Yeah, next weekend.
Rain, snow mixed.
Okay.
Told you everybody's crazy. No, I am crazy, but
upper 50s by say Wednesday, and then later in the week by Thursday and Friday, we can see high temperatures above normal in the mid to upper end of the 60s.
60s by Thursday. Yeah, we'll take that. Hang on.
Right now it is 48 degrees at Midway, 47 at the lakefront, 46 at O'Hare. And just for David, the barometric pressure at Midway is 30 points, 11 inches of mercury, and rising. I'm Ron Brown.
See, Ron Brown, that's how a seasoned professional broadcaster holds it down. These kids just want to call it in, Ron. I mean, yeah. Well, we're usually on a little earlier. The Hawks games screw things up for us. I don't know, a little kibitzing back and forth, right? Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I understand. I totally get it. And we're having a Seder after this. If you want to schlep to Northbrook and join us, you're more than welcome. The door's always open around Brown. No problem. We're going to talk. We're going to talk mortgages, real estate, housing, and how to survive this unbelievable inflation with what we're experiencing in real estate after these brief messages. All right, so then I'm going to throw it to you and Sarah to talk about that, and Steve chime in, because what's going to happen is people are going to live off their credit card.
Yeah, that I could see that. That's coming.
That's here.
Yeah.
That's happening. It's $300. If you have two cars, it's $300 extra a month. A week. What am I talking about? No, extra a month. Yeah, it's extra a month for fuel in the car. Two cars.
Everybody needs a Tesla.
Yeah.
I got my car coming up next year. This time my lease is up. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Order it now.
Yeah.
You lease? Why?
Good for business. They're right for the business.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Good for lease. I'm looking at electric cars.
So
Oh, yeah.
I ordered a Mustang Mach-E
Oh, look at you.
in January.
Yeah.
You know when it's supposed to come in?
August.
If I'm lucky by August.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I don't have a car. I got rid of my car. I'm like borrowing my wife's, my daughter.
Yeah.
Mr. Floor Van.
Mr. Vorvan, what's up?
Did you put a charging station in your garage?
No, I actually have kind of a charging station in my facility.
Cool.
When you haven't seen that thing.
If I were getting
27th. Friday.
You haven't get it. That's right. I'm thinking about buying.
You didn't get it from Joe Cotton Ford, did you?
No, I just
I should have
would like to get out sooner
Yeah,
rather
Tracy's,
than
yeah.
later.
Yeah, Tracy
Done.
Brown.
Because tomorrow's Easter.
It's
So
unbelievable.
We'll just
we
do that and
ordered
get out. We're not doing it.
ad loader, a little
Yeah,
track
it's
machine.
done.
We ordered
Sorry,
it
but-
Very good.
in
No.
October or September.
I would have known it'd be
and it
so
won't arrive
crowded.
till
We would have
May.
left at 1.
Wow.
Steve would have showed up
Yeah.
late. But
These are the things that, again, I never thought that would ever happen. That you
I'm
could
just gonna do that one.
go to buy a car and there's nothing there for you to buy.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
though,
Whatever.
the car dealers love this model.
I'm gonna get
Well, that they're not housing them,
it
Yeah.
at the end, I guess.
except for they're not selling as many cars.
Right. That's why they're jacking up these additional fees.
I'm gonna wrap up
You know,
this
you're paying an
last
extra,
part.
whatever, $1,500, $2,000 above
I
stick.
think easy, yes,
Because-
easy.
And they justify by telling you that, we don't have enough volume to move, so we need this money.
Well, it's,
Where'd you get your car?
it goes to supplies and demand.
I ordered it through my fleet management company.
I get my cars out by Kari at the Mercedes St. Charles.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
a
know-
nice Mercedes.
I know and I don't know if I'm going to get their electric,
Oh, that Equus or whatever it is.
Equus.
Phenomenal. It's a spaceship.
You've seen it?
I've seen it online.
Yeah. But I like that Audi. That Audi looks mean too. That
My friend has that.
does he like it?
Oh my god, he took me in that thing.
Seriously?
Oh,
The new Audi?
The e-tron?
Yeah.
Oh,
Forget about it? Really?
oh.
Oh, well, there you go. There we go.
Set you back 6 figures, but
I'll pot it down. Three 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. That's the Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. All right, now we're going to shift to you, Igor. And we're going to shift to you, Sarah Andreas. And we're going to have Stephen A. Leahy chime in.
You can't stop me.
I know. He's going to talk anyway. I could turn the mic off. Shut him down. No, so we heard the real estate expert talk about supply and demand on the real estate side. People need to live someplace. Now they're in these houses, okay, or own the houses, or they're working out of the houses, like they didn't do 2 years ago prior to the pandemic, and now they need to do work on these houses.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about what you're seeing, and do you really think that, okay, we got the call from the kid that wants to take care of Grandma on Mother's Day, which is a great idea, right? So nice young man calling in, doesn't know how he's going to finance it, better start, walking the streets and stealing catalytic converters. Only a joke. But what are you guys seeing on the supply side? You guys are in and out of houses. Talk about that. You're down your dance with both of you guys.
Definitely. I mean, there are some motivations right now to do work on your home, especially the exterior of your home. One of them is safety, like that, little boy's grandmother, the porch is tilting, that could be unsafe.
Sure.
And then also aesthetics. I mean, we collectively as a nation are spending more time at home, and we are approaching those summer months, and you want to maximize the square footage of not only your house, but your entire lot. And you could do that by having a new concrete patio. But, there are people who aren't in the market right now to get their concrete done, and that's okay. Just know that when you wait 3, 4, 5 years, the price of concrete and our services goes up about 10% per year.
Okay, let's talk about what you were talking about with stagflation.
So not only stagflation, David, but one of the things we talk about with our clients all the time is value preservation. Okay, and what we mean by that is, and Sarah kind of alluded to it a little bit, maintenance, doing preventative maintenance, those sorts of things. So, that's one of the reasons that we developed our line of cleaning products, for our clients to use. It was really for just our own purposes initially, just to kind of pass around to our clients so that they have no guesswork and know exactly what to clean their floors with, because as you know, a bucket of water and a mop is the absolute surest.
It's the surest way to ruin a floor.
That's right.
I've heard that on a commercial before.
Exactly. But this value preservation proposition is now going to become even more important, because as inflation continues to eat away at all of our disposable income, I think it's even more important to do preventative maintenance and to do some of the things that maybe we've all been putting off. We can't buy that new car because you just can't get a new car. So you have to, maintain your car correctly. You have to, maintain your home correctly. That's why we talk about all these, these tips and these hints of, what do you do to maintain your floors properly, or humidification or dehumidification. All of these, kind of play into the greater sort of the bigger picture of what we, I think, all need to do to stretch our dollar a little bit longer. Kari keeps talking about, people are pulling offers off the table because they're scared of the extra, $300-400 a month that is going to cost them in mortgage, and they're concerned that they're going to be buying a piece of property that maybe at some point the bottom falls out and we're back to maybe a 2008 type scenario. So all of these things come into play. So with lumber prices on the rise, rebar, Sarah's talking about rebar, going through the roof.
HVAC stuff, Dykstra, every 6 months it's going up 10-15% for new air conditioning units.
Yeah, it's a legitimate concern. And again, we're all trying our very best to not pass all of it along. And we can't pass all of it along.
That's impossible.
But at a certain point, it's impossible.
Right.
And that's the bottom.
Or you'll be out of business.
Right.
312-981-7200, 630 texter. Ready for this? Hey, Hochberg. Is that the right way to do it, Steve?
Hochberg.
Hey, Hochberg. I own a screen repair business, and our supplies cost almost 100% more than they did in 2019. Totally ridiculous, Danny, TSG.
Yeah.
Now, is this like phone screens or door, like patio screens? Like for your, like, which one is it?
What am I doing? A background check on the guy? He sent in a text. I'm reading the text. I don't know. It does. But what he's saying is, whatever screen he's using, it's twice as much today than it was in 2019 prior to the pandemic.
Sure.
So what we also talked about was our listeners are going to be living off their credit cards. Stephen A. Leahy, you see this a lot. I see it a lot.
Yep.
What does that mean to them, buddy?
It means they're going to pay more, and they're going to reach a spot where you can't put any more on it. Then what do you do? Right, then you're going to reach that bottom. And you have to think about this beforehand, about what is dischargeable in bankruptcy, what isn't. I think too many people don't think about that. As you see your bills rising and you're saying, there's going to be a point I can't pay it anymore, right? So there's things you could do to try to, obviously you want to try to pay them if you can. Most of my clients will always tell you, I've never missed a bill. I've never missed a bill before, and all of a sudden I'm at a point where they think that they're the only ones in the world, because that's how people think, right? And here's the thing: there's a lot of people out there. There's things you can do. Be happy to tell. We could talk about, but it's always a specific case, right? What is your case like? Where are you? What kind of assets do you have? Protect your assets. You got to do that.
Fight back now.
Fight back now.
All right, this is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We got to hit a quick break here. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. That's the MegaPros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago at 720 WGN. All right. So, Steve, give me some of the Astros.
When are we going to talk about your MCing?
No, that's after the show.
You gonna be sitting the rest of the show?
What?
You gonna be sitting the rest of the show, Dave?
No. No. Sorry.
No, you good. The mic was in your face the entire time.
Sorry for the delay.
That's better.
We had a great meeting.
Now, are we continuing this conversation around inflation and whatever?
No, I think we inflated it out.
We're switching directions.
Here, you want to say hi to your aunt?
Yeah, Gabby.
Is she offended that you haven't said that?
Yes.
Why?
She's texting my dad nasty things, man, and I. Because I said that my grandpa started the company, my dad tenfolded it, which he did.
Oh, and you didn't mention her.
And I didn't mention her, but it was him who did it. She didn't do anything.
No, you have to be politically, inclusive. So you have to,
I don't do the family politics, man.
We're going to put her in a chair one weekend. Wait, you have the handful, huh? Can Debbie sit in the chair for 3 hours?
It's up to you.
has she been here before? Or no?
No. No, we should throw her in and see how easy it is to spot.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's super easy. Until the red light goes on and the asshole fuckers up. And you can crack walnuts with it. Yeah, right.
You have such a way with words.
I had a lady, I forgot who it was. I'm like, oh, here's what you're going to do. You'll be a little nervous. I'm fine. Light came on white.
I just had this. The one example I used, though, David, is the guy that you had for the hanging guy. The picture hanger, because David says to him, "Hey, give me a question to ask you, because we want to get you talking." And the guy says, "Here's the question you can ask me. Ask me who uses my product. Who can use my product?" And so David comes in and he says, "Hey, who can use your product?" And the guy says, "Anyone."
And that was it?
That was it. I'm like, great. Thanks.
Super specific.
Right into the fucking brick wall. No, he said everyone. Everyone.
That's it. And then he looked at David like, that was your answer.
It was kind of like the mic drop moment, right?
Everyone. He thought that was
like 4 calls.
He thought that was a good. That's good.
And that's his business, hanging pictures?
That's all he does.
Okay, all right.
But I use that all the time because it's like, and I get people who think, oh, I got a lot to talk about, and then you get them on and their stories. I got so much more to say. Well, say it for God's sake.
So as we were having this conversation about inflation and all these things, I'm watching the CNN ticker behind you, and one of the headlines was "The American Nightmare?" ? And I think that's an accurate.
Inflation triggers skyrocketing consumption.
Yeah, but that's before that. They're saying the American Nightmare instead of the American Dream. I don't know.
Sensationalism.
It could be, but It wasn't.
Well, it ain't
when I was
the thing is, it's not getting better.
like this when I was growing up.
It's not getting better.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of up and down.
We'll give
Yeah.
Donnie a shout out since he's not with us.
Yeah, what-
It's how to navigate this business.
There we go.
When you're a young guy like myself, you really haven't seen that much.
Oh.
Three 312-981-7200 Megapro's call, text, and photo line 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com. David, I'm not the smartest person in the world. This text is from Stephen and Leahy. But why would the Fed raise interest rates when we can't even afford to pay attention? I don't understand that. But okay, you got your text right online. But
There's an answer.
Yes. Go ahead.
We were just talking about it off air.
Go ahead, answer.
Right. So the concern is if the Fed doesn't step in and raise the rates like they're doing now, the inflation is going to continue to increase, and potentially things could get worse. And you were mentioning soft landing. There will be no landing at all.
There's no
It'll just
landing.
be
There's going to be a landing. There's no soft landing because we, as you know, as an econ major at the University of Illinois,
ILL.
IMF. You don't know that you are in a recession until 6 months after you are in a recession, right? Because you're waiting for the 6 month trailing indicators in order to tell you, in order to figure that out. So, listen, this whole thing with the recession, it is what it is. Kari made the comment about cash buyers, which I thought was fascinating, because cash buyers are what, Kari? They're investors, right? And they kind of are the most sophisticated buyers out there. Would you agree with that in the real estate market?
Yes.
They got a feel for what's going on, and these men and women that are investing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 cash, they're wiring cash. They're not taking mortgages out. They're writing a check. Well, they're not writing a check for that large. They're sending wires for that amount, and you're seeing those type of buyers are starting to back out of the market.
Yes, that's because it's too expensive for them to buy and then to rent, and then with our Illinois taxes, they cannot get enough rent to pay for it. And those cash buyers do not buy in a market where the prices are high.
Right.
They buy it when it's coming down.
312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. So what are you advising your clients that are looking to get out? Is now the time? I have this conversation with Amy all the time. Would you strongly recommend, hey, if you put the market on now, let's face it, we're April 15th, a 60-day close. Kids will have graduated high school. Okay, if you know your kid is going to be, if a child's graduating high school and you don't want to pay the taxes to send them to high school, now's probably a good time to get that house on the market while there's still a lack of inventory out there, so they can churn and burn it and you can market the bejesus out of it and have 9 people lined up to take a look at their house.
Yes, absolutely. If you're a seller, you should do it right now. And that's because affordability is still there for people. I mean, interest rates have increased, but they're not sky high. They're 5, maybe getting to 5.5. It's still digestible for people. So the prices are still high for homes. Demand is still very, very strong. So if you are a seller, you should do it right now. Not to mention our weather's about to break and it's about to look beautiful here. So it's always a great time to sell at this time of year in the Chicagoland area.
312-981-7200. To answer your question, Miss Inquisitive,
Yes.
window screens.
Window screens.
So
Okay.
the texter Danny has a window screen replacement business,
Okay.
and the materials that he uses and his company uses, according to his text, has doubled since 2019. Doubled. So if you wanted to bring in a screen, maybe it cost you $50, $100, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going to be $200. It's going to be $100 or $200 to get the screen.
That's crazy.
I
mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So get the duct tape out. I mean, that's what we're going to here. I mean, that's where you're at. Steve, talk about the foreclosure moratorium.
Well, I wanted to. there was a case up in Minnesota where a landlord brought against the government, saying that it's a taking. Taking is a Fifth Amendment right. Your government can't take something from you without paying you for it. And the court has kind of agreed with them. So this might be a huge deal for landlords, right? If you could turn back to go to the government and say, you owe me money for these renters who weren't paying me. This could be a big thing on the government.
The government bailed out every single homeowner, but investment property owners. Okay, and then our listeners will be like, well, they got the money for the rent. No, they didn't. If their renters did not participate and fill out the forms for their landlords, the landlords got nothing. I'll tell you what the landlords got, okay? They got screwed royally, okay? Because during the and I said this during the time. I said this during the time, Stephen, and I'm on record through shows up and down this dial here in Chicago. I said, I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. I feel horrible for the real estate owner who owns an investment property, who's typically a small business owner, because a lot of the real, this, Kari.
Yes.
A lot, and Steve, everybody here knows.
Yeah.
Cicero. How many mom and pops own houses in Cicero? 2, 3, 4 unit buildings that have been in the family, and they got 2 or 3 people living in those, brownstones and graystones.
Almost everybody, right? Growing up, it's always that was the road to wealth. Right, start buying property, and that's what everybody did, and those are the people that got caught.
Those landlords own those properties. Those landlords were not collecting any rent. Those landlords who wanted to sell those property couldn't sell those property in the hottest real estate market in the history of real estate markets. And I'm glad that somebody up in Minnesota is fighting back. Fight back now.
I am too, and I think it could. Of course, this could go all the way up into the Supreme Court, and then that could be nationwide, where everybody says, "Hey, this was a taking. You took my property without just compensation." And I think I've been saying it since the beginning that we skipped so many of our constitutional rights during the pandemic that sooner or later that someone's got to make a decision whether they were violated or not. Those rights were violated.
Here, the bottom line is this, and there are listeners out there that are saying this. Well, they could have sold their property at any time. Okay, here, tell you what, you've got a 2-unit building. 3-unit building, you've got 3 renters in there not paying any rent. What person in their right flipping mind is going to buy that property from you that you're collecting 0 income on, that you can't evict the tenants, and you're going to have to pay and pay a mortgage tax and real estate and upkeep on that? Well, what are you, nuts? Nobody's going to buy that property. Sarah, you want to chime in?
Yeah, my dad, Byron, is jumping up and down in the green room
well,
right
we couldn't
now.
tell. We thought he was standing. He's only 3'5".
He's texting me. He wants everybody to know that he has a tenant who hasn't paid rent in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's normal. Like, he's a mom and pop, landlord. He's
again, that's what a lot of people, right? You're going up the wealth ladder. One of the things we're always told: buy property, right? Become a landlord. And these are the people that are hurt the most with all this. And
can you please keep us updated on that?
Absolutely. And again, they didn't decide that, but they did push it back down to the district court, and now it'll go back up to the circuit court. And I'll keep an eye on it. But again, I'm very interested in whether that goes through or not. Yeah.
Igor?
I'm certainly no attorney. I'm just curious. Eminent domain?
Well, eminent domain is part of that, right? Is that because when they take your property, they have to pay you for it, and that's because of the Fifth Amendment.
So
same concept, right? That's the same concept.
Okay.
These landowners, these homeowners that aren't rich, were some of them collecting nothing for the past 2 years and still haven't, and could have sold at the peak of the market when we needed inventory, Kari. Right? We needed inventory, but we couldn't kick the people out. And what has it done to the market? It just it added the oxygen that took off.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And there was a time period too where they may have wanted to sell, but we couldn't even show the property because you couldn't have people together, so you couldn't even do a showing.
I just want to mention also, we keep talking about people who aren't rich, but the rich people who are rich, they still deserve a return on their investment. They still deserve to have someone pay the rent that's living in there. My own opinion.
Yeah, okay. I totally get it. And hopefully, now that the moratorium's over, and those that listen, if you can't afford to modify your home, then you can't live there.
That's right.
It's that simple. I feel horrible for that. We could go into it after the break, and we got text messages coming in. I'm a capitalist. I'm a pig. I don't have a heart. You're right. I am. But you know what? I also have a heart for business owners, the mom and pops that got crushed during the past 24 months that nobody's fighting for.
I agree with
and I'm
that.
the only voice on the radio that fought for them. We could pick it up on the other side of the news because Ron Brown's got some very interesting news coming up. And he wants to get it out to everybody. 312-981-7200 is the MegaPros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago at 720 WJAM.
And my question, Kari, that I was going to ask you on air, but where does the first-time home buyer fit into all this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm 25. My parents helped me buy a home in 2019.
Yeah.
So, but people my age, like my peers, are wanting to start like getting into home ownership because the price of rent is like crushing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But
They won't even qualify.
They won't even qualify. That's what.
Forget the money part. They won't qualify.
Yeah. That's.
So they won't
Because
even
the
get the
prices
car
went.
because
They won't get past me.
Affordability is changing.
That's exactly right.
And it's a shame. I mean, you said it, like the home you bought was 120. Now maybe it's 240.
Yeah.
I mean, that's killer.
Right.
But yet now everything, and that's happened to the home you were going to buy.
Yeah. The people across the street from me, not remodeled, original like 1970s kitchen or whatever, they just got 280.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. My neighborhood in Northbrook, okay? You've been
Nice there.
nice neighborhood, circa 1960.
Was a nice neighborhood.
Was until he moved.
You got better when you
Well, that's it.
Moved down, got really good. There was a house for sale for 5 years, circa 1960, right? They didn't do fuck all nothing. They couldn't sell it. Kept putting it out, putting it out, putting it out. Sold our house for $750. Okay, right? It was August of 2000. No, 2000. I was in the year.
Yeah,
August of 2000.
2000.
It was August
2020.
2020. The pandemic hit. Yeah, 2020.
2020.
So like 3 months into the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
Our builder said we'd be done at the end of the year. Bullshit. We lived in her parents' basement for 6 months. Long story short, the house that couldn't sell, they got more than we got, and we were completely done.
And you remodeled.
We did every fucking thing. They got $775 because it goes back to you want to go to Charlemagne, nice area, good schools, safe, clean, blah blah blah. They tried to sell that thing 5 times in 4 years, couldn't sell, and they got more than we did.
Yeah, our last rental we just sold in Cicero, sold in 4 days. We were the first buyer.
You're not even showing.
It was a young Spanish couple from 63rd in California. Moving to Cicero is like me from Cicero to Hochberg, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just agreed to have the whole house. And I got $309 for this house. In a million years, I thought because when a realtor came in, we'll do this, we'll put 50 into it. I'll list it maybe 250, 265. We threw a 309 out there.
Done.
Boom. And we settled at 304. I'm like,
Sweet.
I was kissing him. Hugging him, kissing him.
Yeah,
Same time. But it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big house. 3 bedroom.
For you, it's a big house for them.
Yeah.
I got a realtor up in Round Lake.
So moved from 60
Said he hasn't had a house on the market for more than 5 days in over a year.
Now,
Yeah.
I would
that's a hot
sell
area.
if I had somewhere to go.
Not 5 days.
Within a week they're selling.
They had a tenant I got in for 2 years.
Unbelievable.
And I bet over asking.
My lowers pressure because they're
That's
easing off.
that goes with it though, right? That kind of just goes. That's Econ 101.
It's great if you're a seller.
Daughter's 25.
Well, we can tell people, that's why if you're in a forbearance or and you can't, and your income hasn't come back, sell the place. Don't go into foreclosure. Don't do that.
I know.
Sell it.
Because where do they go? So you tell them to sell.
Well, I know. That's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem.
I'm going to follow it. And I said, as a young girl,
That is a problem. And again, I could keep him even in the foreclosure. I can keep him in the house for a year, maybe longer, sometimes a lot longer. So then you hope that by then things get better for them, and then they can't find a place to live. But I've helped a lot of people that way. In 2008, going forward, that's why I got into tax stuff because back then. The market. There were so many people in foreclosure. I started targeting better neighborhoods, and I found out that not only were they in foreclosure, but they hadn't paid their taxes. And so that's what got me into tax, helping people with taxes, because it's the same people, right? And they were business owners, and that's who took. It's the business owners who, and everybody says, well, they're rich. They're, most business owners are, again, you're as you are, right?
Yeah.
You run your own business. You run your own. We're always worried about what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So now you might be able to bounce back, and that's the hope.
Right.
But a lot of it is about cash
slow things down.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I was like,
Oh my God, I know.
What do you do?
I have payroll.
I know.
And I can't physically. I can't put these people.
I know.
What do I do?
Right.
They've effectively shut me down.
You see that $80 billion in fraud with the PPP loans.
Well, they're always showing all these guys that took millions of dollars, and now they're caught and they're going to jail.
I agree with what they did,
and that's the guys that catch. There was a lot of fraud. $80 billion. So you can say, was that worth? And then the other side would be, well, didn't we have to do that to get the money out and take on all that? All that fraud in order to protect people. And
I think that the short answer, I think you have to do it.
Okay, if you're going to shut everybody down. Now, whether you had to shut everybody down is a different question. Okay, if you're going to shut people down, and that's why I go back to this taking. If you're going to shut everybody down and you're going to pass all this money around, well, then you have to pass it to these people that you took their house.
How about business interruption insurance? Where is that?
Yeah.
Got a call for you.
So all these insurance companies are being sued.
Here we go.
For that.
Stand by.
All right, here we go. Three 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. Jim and Palos, you have a question for Kari Kohler. How are you, Jimmy? Yeah. Is your renter paying rent, Jimmy? Oh, look at you. Big shot. Bragger. Damn straight. Cash that check. Okay. Yeah. Well, hang on, Jimmy. How many bedroom, how many bath? Appliances. How many square feet? How many square feet? Okay, elevator. Third floor, walk up, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Does it have, how am I doing, Kari? Doing all right?
You're doing great.
Parking, 1 bath. 2 bed, 1 bath. Parking. Okay, so there's no parking spot. It's just first come, first serve. Okay, so is there an assessment in the building or no? Yeah. And what's the most recent, 2 bedroom, 1 bath gone for on the 3rd floor? Okay. All right. Okay. So here's where a professional real. I did all right, right?
You did fantastic.
Look at that. See, Steve, I know what I'm talking about.
You've done this stuff before.
Steve's like, if this, see, like, what are you going to do if this Moses thing doesn't work out? There you go.
Right.
I could be an IRS. I could be an IRS attorney. Obviously, it's not that tough. So,
but not a realtor.
So what do you do?
You got to have a personality.
All right, I can't handle that at all. So, Kari, what do you do in a situation like this? You've got an investor. Jimmy wants to get out. He's had enough. He's been undercutting the market just to get the cash. He's a big shot. He's been getting cash, and God bless him. Congratulations. How do you price out? Hey, listen, I don't know what you just said, but 100%. I like that. What was that? Oh, I thought you said something else. Okay,
I cleaned it up for you.
Thank you. I was gonna hit the dump button there. But how do you price out a 2-bed, 1-bath walk-up, no parking, brand new appliances, and a 3-story walk-up?
Sure, you just look at past sales, whether they occurred in that specific building or if we need to go a little bit further away from that building and research that, as well as you can sell that property with the tenant in it. Obviously, the new investor is going to want to increase the rent, but if that tenant has a good history of paying on time and doing all the right things, we can sell that unit with your tenant in it. We can make this work for you.
No. No, throw that logic out, Jimmy. Kari?
Yeah, so we're just going to have to look at, like you said, what the current rent average price is in that building. That's going to be what the investor is going to be looking for. And I'd be happy to do that research for you in terms of the rent price and in terms of what your property is worth in today's market. I mean, really now is the time to sell it.
Nice job. Well, I think you're going to be very busy coming up if you want to get back into that market, because I think four.
Not on your diet, you can't.
Well, you didn't ask me how big the steaks were, Jimmy. Stay in your lane. 1.5 ounce steaks. I could have 4 of them. Hang on, buddy. We're going to send you Mr. Floyd cleaning product.
That's not a steak, David.
It's a snack. 312-981. He asked the question. I didn't answer. All right. Hi. My condo was built on a slab. It was built in 2007. Igor, I have carpeting throughout the condo and want to put hardwood flooring in, but I was told by everyone they would make the floor super cold because it being built on a slab. Is that true? What do you recommend I replace the carpet with? Carpeting, or do you put a hardwood floor in? So it was built on a slab.
Yeah.
Does that have any impact on the comfortability level?
It does. It does. And so for that particular client, what we would do is we would install an engineered floor, David.
Yep.
And we would put down an underlayment that would thermally insulate the concrete and create not only a thermal protection, but also create a moisture protection for that concrete. And then the wood floor would just sit on top, and actually we would install it via what's referred to as a floating insulation method, where the individual pieces are interlocked and laid loose on top of that underlayment.
So it looks like you're going to be going to the 815 area code to take care of that.
Great.
312, shout out to Mr. Byron Andreas. Straight talk cement stairs, no need to tear down, referral honest and professional. Martin. So a guy by the name of Martin like your dad.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. And here we go, 708. You ready for this? Here we go, Steve. You ready? Steve, you want to take this? Go ahead, Steve. You can read it.
He says, folks, let's talk hard numbers. How many multi-unit property owners are actually affected by the current rent situation in Cook County? I know many people who never missed a rent payment in the last 2 years. Is the sky actually falling?
Bill and Mokina. So I'm glad you know the people.
Well, let me answer it. The sky's falling for the people who aren't getting their money. Yeah, if you're getting paid, it's great. That's good. That doesn't mean everybody. And again, it is a small number. I mean, it's not everybody who missed rent. But if you're the guy who owns that property and you can't get the guy out and you're not getting the money, the sky's falling for you.
The sky is falling for you, especially when the landlord knows that the person renting from them has a full-time job and is working, and that landlord knows that person who has a full-time job and is not making the rent payment because they don't have to, is getting Amazon truck deliveries every single day because they're ordering off of Amazon Prime, and God forbid we get off our rear ends to go to a Target and buy anything now. We have to sit at home. And so, yes, like Steve said, Bill, if you're collecting rent and everything is wonderful, it's great. If you're the mom and pop who call me, who are having
Or
trouble,
me.
or Steve, who are having trouble making it because they don't have the rent coming in, and their tenants are a bunch of low-life scumbags who won't even pick up the phone or a piece of paper to help them file by filing the paperwork to get the money that the state and the federal government has set aside. Those are the people that we're talking about, and there's tens of thousands of those people that are out there in Cook County.
Really depends where you sit, right? You sit in my seat, I see it all the time. So
right, and if you're getting the rent, God bless you. This guy right here in Palos, he was getting the rent. God bless you. He's very lucky. Okay, I guarantee he knows some people that aren't collecting the rent who have gotten drilled, and it's impacting them. And Sarah, I want to come back because you said that your friend. How old are you?
25.
25?
Yep.
You also want to say something about how awesome your aunt is, which we'll talk about after the break.
Yeah, shout out to my aunt.
Not
Deb
yet. Not yet. Hold on. We're going to make a big
Fine.
Yeah, we're going to have the Roman bugles blowing here.
I'm going to give the big shout out to Aunt Deb.
There you go.
So you want Steve to shout out to Aunt Deb?
Sure, yeah.
I just did.
There you go.
No, that sucked. You got to put more emotion.
No. I don't know her that well.
That was a shout out. That was a horrible shout out. You need to practice the shout out. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago, 312-981-7200. Microphones, call, text, and photo line. Home Sweet Home Chicago, 720 WCHM.
I don't shout.
I don't shout.
She probably turned off the radio already.
We'll send her the podcast.
Yeah, she'll have to re-listen to it.
I love these people. You know.
Tell her what. Tell her if she turns off the radio. It'd be, if you were on the radio, I would listen to
I
you.
would listen the whole time.
That's right.
Home mortgage rates top 5% for the first time in years. Really?
Someone told me that. Someone told us that.
Yeah, so
Somebody did tell us
6
that.
weeks ago.
I just got a text from Uncle Bobby wants to be called.
What did they expect was going to happen? I mean, they're raising interest rates.
Problem
You're not
is,
getting mortgage rates going up.
here's the problem. The problem is, when they call us and we tell them what the rate is,
They think
because
you're bullshitting.
they think we're bullshit, and then they call around, they get fucked by other people, because then other people charge them discount points,
Yeah.
right? And then they pay $14,000 more to get a point below.
Yeah, so they rate down, they buy down.
They buy down the rate.
Waste of money.
I've been telling our guys,
Waste
hey,
of money.
I need a 2-1 buy down. I need a 1-0 buy down. I need something. I need adjustable rate mortgages. I need something to get me through. You know,
This transition.
I'm like, gee, just give me some 4.5 sounds great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I need a 10-year arm at 4.5. You know, for basically 24 months.
Can you get a 10-year arm?
I'm working on it. I mean, you know, 30-year amortized 10-year arm. Sell that all day long.
Yeah, that'd be a great package.
If I could get it.
That's it. Those are so dangerous for people because they don't
Fuck you
understand.
with your arm as Mr. Attorney.
No, it's not the arm that I'm concerned about. Is that the 10-year rate comes and they still own a bit, and people don't.
What are you talking? It's a 30-year amortized loan.
Over 30 years, but it's 10-year loan. And what I'm saying, when the 10 years comes and people think that,
No, I
David,
totally get it.
don't we have this person right now that's
Right, but she's an idiot.
Yeah.
But I would, you know, we're going to refinance it as soon as rates drop.
That's
They're gonna drop
that's
for a long time.
I agree with that. It's going to be some
I think
time.
24 months.
No way.
You don't think 24 months?
No, because the next presidential election isn't until, you know, it won't be. I don't think it'll happen until after that, after the next presidential election.
Yeah, I'm thinking way after.
All right, 36 months.
Maybe.
There's Uncle Brad.
I mean, it's just there's nothing is
You got
pointing
you out of
to
this
a
job.
rate drop.
As an econ, if someone says, if the government spends $5 trillion they don't have, what's going to happen?
Well,
Inflation.
What happened is what's happening.
Yes,
Exactly.
inflation. And what's the answer that we keep hearing? Let's do it. Let's spend more money.
Right.
It's like, that doesn't
You gave people money who didn't need money. You gave business owners money.
I hear this. This
so ridiculous.
Now they're taking the money off the table, and it's going to hurt.
Right, and now it's going to hurt everybody.
It's going to hurt everybody.
So dumb.
It's always the same people that get hurt. And it's always
We got to be out at 56:10. Here we go. Everybody get like a minute or two. Here we go.
and a lot of pizza.
Agree with Tracy.
I didn't hear that. Very good, Tracy.
Classic.
That is very good, Tracy.
He's great.
He's very witty.
Yeah. He renewed, but he'll never be on again. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. So, Sarah, Andreas, you were talking about your friends affording homes. And
Yeah. How is anybody my age? I mean, I purchased a home with help of my parents in 2019.
Sure.
But how is anybody my age between now and the next 5 years? Hopefully, you want to be a homeowner before you're 30. You know, how is that going to happen? Where's the space for new homeowners in this market?
You're going to have to save a lot more money.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I bought my first home. I was 28 years old.
Wow.
I worked. I had a full-time job, and I waited tables on the weekend.
Yeah, and that, I'm sure, how old are you now?
55.
Yeah,
It looks
okay,
like I'm
so
40.
That many years ago, I'm sure that was realistic. But
Yeah.
now, is it?
If you want to get off your ass and work, yeah, I'll tell you what. Help wanted signs everywhere I pass. I worked at Ada's Deli in Deerfield, right? I was slinging $5 corned beef sandwiches and bowls of matzo ball soup from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I walked out, and they were $250 of ones, twos, and $5 bills,
And a bunch of quarters.
and a bunch of quarters and burn marks because the soup was burning my hand. And you know what? I cleared $500 a weekend cash.
Mm-hmm.
Probably past the limit of statute of limitations.
Probably.
IRS.
You reported it, though.
100%. 100%. But I saved all that money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I used all the change to pay my tolls.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And I stacked up and I saved money.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get a kid off their ass to get out of bed to go apply for a job. There's help wanted signs up and down every block in town here. You're going to have to work harder. This is your generation.
Right.
You're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to shut your mouth and stop complaining. And you might have to live with mom and dad for an extra year.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to have to take the overtime when your boss offers you the overtime. And you're going to have to work, and you're going to have to grind. It's not just going to fall into your lap or on your phone. Yes, Sally, Susie, let's go buy a home.
Put the reefer down.
That's Steve. Steve, like, put the bong down. All right. All right. Not you, because there's no way that you do that.
No,
but
never.
It's totally legal. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but all your pot burnt out friends is what he's saying. That's nice, Steve. That's good.
That's nice, yeah.
That's just the advice I give my own kids. Okay, put the reefer down.
Put the
There you
reefer
go.
down. Yes.
That's good advice.
Yeah, because Steve's kids are like have got an exhaust pipe out of the bedroom. Jeez, it's unbelievable.
Well, both of my kids are in law school.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
No, they're both in
Don't
law
get out of
school,
their
but they
mind.
don't have to get out of their bed because it's all online. So
That's nice.
it's
So they got their computer screen, they've got their bong, and they've got the exhaust fan going. So it's good. It's great.
Future lawyer of America.
Future leaders
yeah.
of America right there.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see where this country's going in 20 years. If our listeners want to reach out to you and your fine organization with your dad, your uncle, and your aunt, where do they reach out to you?
Absolutely. We are Robert R. Andreas and Sons, and we do concrete and asphalt, and we are located in Cicero. You can give us a call at 708-863-5735 or find us on the web at andreasconstruction.com.
Igor, Marak, if our listeners want to reach out to you, what nugget of knowledge do you want to leave our listeners with until they hear you next time?
Value preservation, David.
Value preservation. Take care of those
Take
floors.
care of the floors. Take care of your home, because as we've been talking this entire 3 hours,
Feels like 6.
affordability is a major problem,
Yep.
and you got to protect what you have right now. So give us a call if we can help you with any of your flooring needs. We offer complete flooring solutions. 847-674-7500. Visit us online at MrFloor.com, and don't forget to use the promo code WGN at checkout to try our cleaning products.
Turn those humidistats down.
Turn them down.
All right. Kari Kohler, the Kohler Group, out in St. Charles. What nugget of knowledge would you like to leave our listeners with after this show?
If you are considering selling, sell now while prices are still super high. We have real estate markets here in the Chicagoland area, in Denver and Las Vegas, and I can be reached at 630-673-4586.
All
so
consultations for all three of you are free,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Stephen A. Leahy, no pressure. Now you got to
It's
get free
mine's.
consultation.
I give free consultations. I answer the phone. I have a lot of questions over the phone, and if you have a question, you should call me at 312-664-6649. But here's my bit of wisdom, if there is. file your tax return. Even if you can't pay the IRS, file the tax return because it starts the statute of limitations. File your tax return.
No matter what. I got a friend of mine I sent to you. We won't name his name. He's all nervous. His wife's going to be taken down with him, and you told me what?
If your wife, if you don't file together, then they're not a joint. It's not a joint return. Then she doesn't owe. Only he owes.
Right. So for him not to go to you and finish the process that he started 8 months ago and paid for.
People are afraid of that. That's one of the driving forces why people want to fix their IRS problem.
Right.
Going to get married.
Or
get out, buy a home because you can't.
Right, you need your IRS tax transcripts and stuff to get a home if you have a tax lien. If our listeners want to reach out to you and your fine organization and open tax resolutions,
go to WGNTaxBan.com.
All right, I am David.
Fight back now.
Fight back now. Bing, bing,
I
boom.
had to do that.
Joe was going to enjoy that segment that Benny put together. I'm David Hochberg. If you want to reach me during the week, it's 855-56-DAVID, which is 855-563-2843. Go to 56david.com. Rates are up a little bit, but they're still historically low. We are still helping our listeners get financing, so don't put your head in the sand. If you've got challenges today, they're not going to get any better. So reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks for listening. Next Saturday, regularly scheduled time. Thanks for listening, everybody. We're going to throw it over to Ron in the newsroom.